Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty, I'm not cracking, we stacking. Chips, all of this, what I want, plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone, I prefer elevated pump sports radio. Time to get educated, Bouquett produced, play the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call the truth. They get slaughtered, can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon, cause we be, pubbing. We be pubbing!
What's up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, May 10th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. It was a winning night. NHL helped very much, but couldn't really climb out of that early MLB hole. Went 2-2 after the Mariners Twins debacle. So we've hit our low watermark of the season, MLB. We were here very close to this number 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I sent a message to Jose saying, can we just pray to the baseball gods that this is the low watermark? And then I went on a run. I got into the black, and now I'm back again. It's unfortunate. I've hammered the NHL and NBA cards. I'd like to hit the NBA card even a little harder, but MLB, I have 3 bets. 3 bets I really like. I'm not sure exactly what will be added. The show with Bobano on it, of course, starts with NHL and then NBA. We close with MLB. Daby Cab will be joining us with best bets as well. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Andrew G says the Rangies. Are you kidding me? They're going to sweep the Canes. Wow. What a performance again by Shesty and the Rangers. 7-0 in the playoffs. Certainly feel like a juggernaut there. Viper NB, Texas -1, Philadelphia -1. And Frank says, Jose, I tried to get you on the Royals. Frank running real nice. I wish I joined there. Let's copy and paste our guy Viper's Action Vipe. Thank you for, as always, sharing your angles with us. Let's get that right before MLB. Man, I just have a ridiculous amount of notes on today's show. We are going to be doing Friday and Saturday NHL playoffs, Friday, Saturday NBA playoffs, and then roll into this giant MLB card. Dan Kelly says, who had the Cavs -24.5 bad beat? What a performance by Spider and the Cavs. Wow. I cashed the under by a half point. Was very, very, actually, I guess I got by a full point. But it was very, very, very tight. You're always extremely thankful when those come in. I couldn't even believe with like 3.5 minutes left, 4 minutes left, that total was 220.5. I was like, well, I don't understand those totals when clearly one team is not trying. The hockey pool has been updated. We will discuss that. Jose will have that up. I haven't looked this morning, but I imagine that TJ continues to lead. And if the Hurricanes get knocked out, then I guess it's between TJ and Earl for number 1. I think it just kind of is settled at that point. The Clark Edge ready to go. Joey Marinaccio, the Dapper Capper, got Diamondbacks first 5 -105. Let's get that copied and pasted here for us. Gerald Jones ready to go. Swiggy in the house. Also, UFC contest. Don't forget our free UFC contest. We have the $100 UFC contest, free to enter, that goes off tomorrow. And then we have our horses today, $50 on the line for our horse race to close out the show. Big Pub Sports Radio Gold member race. Clark Edge, 10K bet on Philly -half, first 5 at Hard Rock. Sharp just slammed it. Wow. Big bet there on Philly, first 5 -1/2. Thank you for sharing that with us, Clark Edge. Joey Harb, smooth balls play of the day is Suarez over 5.5 Ks. Ranger Suarez for the Phillies. That's backing up the Sharp that just dropped 10K down at Hard Rock. Truth Teller in the house, running real nice in MLB. Rocco Rogers says, go Rangers. They deserve the respect now. Line was ridiculous. Huge casher on them and the Trouba block shots. Let's go. Great job. Rocco Rogers, Webb over 18.5 outs at +130, locked in for MLB. Says, I think that line should move. Love this look today. Yeah, I love it too. I don't really, I'm on the first 5 under 4, but I'm interested in backing him after the 2 tough starts on the road. against tough offenses. Billy Friedrich, Kent Davies, Red Girl, Ronnie Crawford, serious business. Spreadsheet play today, a big one, plus 182. 182 on the nasty Nats here. God, they're a good young baseball team. They've put it together pretty quickly. The nuke worker ready to go. Fernando Mendoza in the house. Charlie Bradshaw slats. He says Rupee Hintz is alive. And so are the Dallas Stars. Cash Trouba blocks and Rangers on Panthers tonight. Money line. No goal first 10. Oilers game scares me. I can't wait to talk about it. Chosen one. TJ loving what he's seeing from the Rangers. Nuker says the Canes are who we thought they were. And Clark Edge, Boston, first 5 minus a half, max bet. We got Nate Dogg ready to go. Kent Davies leading Panthers under 5.5 and Boston team total under. I've hammered those, and we're going to talk about all of that here. So Remos hammering our guy Gogster a little more, which he deserves. Clark Edge asking if anyone is in Atlantic City. The Clark Edge is there. Kelly McInnes, Jake Flanagan ready to go. Justin McKelvey, stacks play today. Nuggets team total over 99.5 points. Let's get that copied and pasted. Here we go. Get that locked in. Steve G ready to go. D Jenkins, chosen one. And look at that. Casey LA Angels over 8.5. And also took the first 5 over must bet. It does feel like the market is going in that direction. Now, I have moved on the Angels first 3 and first 5 in that baseball game. Marsh coming off the IL. Clearly there's volatility, but the public backing Marsh coming off the IL, and the line wasn't moving. The line, in fact, was moving in the direction of, my guy Griffin Canning, who I believe is better than a 6.69 ERA would indicate. We'll talk all about that. Jake Flanagan, Phillies team total over 3.5. Canucks money line, that's together at plus 214. The Demons, the Edmonton Oilers playoff Demons have come out. They've come out, and they've come out quickly. Chosen one, cash Cavs plus 13 and 610 money line. Chosen one. Remos tailed Jose's under in the Yankees game. And Jose took out Justin for the stake bet yesterday. KBO on last call. See you tonight. Love it, Ron Crawford. Ilya Kat says $5 dono to bless our action. And my wife said if I ever bet the Pacers again, she will divorce me because she refuses to marry a dumbass. I love it, Ilya Katz. But, you know what? Thank you for blessing our action. Why don't we start with that? Thank you, Ilya Katz. Always having our back. You are the man, and it means a ton to us. Sabino Anguano, the nuke worker. Everybody ready to rock. Everybody ready to rock. Torrey Coker, a Rodney Barton Orioles money line. Obviously, the hockey is on my mind. Jeffrey Moore says Stars plus 2,200 still alive. You know what's still alive? Joe T's 66-1 on his hometown Minnesota Timberwolves to win it all. That's wild. That is absolutely a wildly exciting bet. Steve G, you're right. I am on the Nuggets. I am. Lucas Ryan says he knew a sharp of 44K on the Celtics last night. Wow. Corey Coker took the Mavericks money line with the Cavs first half plus 9. I love it. Okay, it's time to get ready to rock. Jason M, Panger Life, Von Polo. We have Bankroll, Spence, My Dude, Subhuman Gaucho, Dan Kelly. Razor Sharp pick says Drexler has 1 horse day at Woodbine, race 6, the 5 horse. The 5 horse. Billy Friedrich says Kochekov needs to grow up, refuse to speak to the press after the game. You need to lose with class 2. Real easy to talk to the press after a win. I hear that. A Joker under 8.5 assists for Michael Johnson. Von Polo also on the Orioles money line. Lucas Ryan in the house as well. All right, it's great to see all of you guys. And Panger Life got killed by the hook on the Cavs Celts game. You know, it's funny how one guy gets saved by it and the other, gets paid out for it, which I did, but it's tricky. It's sorry that hurt you. Let me copy and paste this. Okay, it is time to get to work again. We will have NHL off the top, and then we will talk NBA. We're going to talk Friday and Saturday's NHL, Friday and Saturday's NBA. Why don't we start by getting a look at that playoff pool? Jose Bouquett, if you could fire it up here. I want to enlarge this so I can see it clearly. TJ, wow, big night for Mama Bag with the Dallas Stars, but still, if the Rangers knock out the Hurricanes as we expect, it's likely that that TJ will take care of business. Slatsy has moved in front of me, and I only have what's my lead on you, Jose, which is also could cost me 200 American. It's a 2-point lead. I have a 3-point lead. Sorry, 3-point lead. I was looking at you and Slaughter. 3-point lead on Jose. That makes me very, very uncomfortable, very, very nervous. But I need Mama Bag to take out TJ here. So it's a battle up front. There's a lot on the line, still a battle up front. And thank you to all that entered our playoff pool, and TJ with a 3-point lead. But Mama Bag needs the Hurricanes and the Stars to come up big. So we'll see if that comes to fruition for her. All right, it is time to get into NHL. NHL playoffs. We have a beautiful Friday and Saturday night cards. Very, very exciting. Let's bring on our guy who stars on Fridays here on Betting with the Bag. Please welcome from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada's black and yellow, Mr. Ian Cameron to the program. Ian, how are you, my man?
I'm good. Looking forward to another big sports weekend. Lots of playoff action. So looking forward to talking about these games.
Let's get right after it. We have a beauty here with Florida, Boston, and we got to get you right here in NHL on the show. You have Snake Bit, the Wyatt Johnston. You triple up or quadruple up on him, and it's the one game that he doesn't deliver. It's just a little bit snake bit, but there's still time in this season for you to heat up, which is what we need you to do. Last night for me, Hurricanes -1 was a loser, but Cash the Stars -1. That empty netter was extremely celebrated here. They got a little nervous there. And then the first period under 1.5 in Carolina Rangers, full game under 5.5 in Carolina Rangers as well. Perky in the house. Let's roll. Brahma, be ready to go. So I have made 3 bets in this hockey game. I think that the Panthers are skating downhill in the series. I think that we're asking too much of Boston, a team with a ton of heart and a ton of character who could easily step up here at home in front of their rabid fan base at TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. But I'm betting against it. Now, Dave, so I moved on to Panthers as soon as it was available, and that usually is a mistake. You just watch a team win 6-1. The same thing happened to me with the Thunder, and usually it's a mistake. And it could be a mistake here, but the -115 made no sense to me, and I moved on it. Kent Davies sent me a message talking about the under. I think that Swayman continues to play very well. It was unfortunate that I was on the first period under 1.5, full game under 1.5 in game 2. It was unfortunate that the floodgates opened up for Boston, and that could happen again here. But I'm on the first period under 1.5, the full game under 5.5, and the Panthers -115. We have Bobrovsky still, even though he's playing well, .893 save percentage in the playoffs, but he's made some acrobatic great saves. Swayman still has spectacular numbers despite getting 4 goals scored on him in the last game and being pulled. He's still playing at a very, very high level. 1.82 goals against average, .942 save percentage. In the playoffs, the Boston Bruins penalty killing 93.3%. Now, they were finally touched. By the Panthers. But we went over exactly who's doing it. And, Carlo's being spectacular, Coyle and Marchand up front. It's a very good penalty kill. But, and that's part of the reason why I'm on the under. It's another, just because their 18 straight kills got, ended. I still think it's very, very strong. And look at the Florida power play this playoffs, 18.2%. So I don't need to go over everything that we talked about yesterday. I have added the unders. But I think Barkov is playing at an elite level, that the forwards on the Panthers are just too much. They're just too much for the Boston Bruins. And I think the series ends in 5 games. I do. I'm not going to bet that. I'm just going to bet them in each game. Take it away here for us, Bobano. Florida Panthers, Boston Bruins, TD Garden. East second round, game 3. Take it away.
Yeah, this is a very interesting one because it's got that feel where maybe it's a back and forth series. Boston won game 1, Florida won game 2. Maybe it's a Boston night and a Boston spot. But when I see the Florida Panthers playing on the road and getting a price this reasonable, I guess you could say -120, I can't go against that. So they're a phenomenal road team. I've had lots of winning moments this year with the Panthers on the road. We saw obviously what they were able to do throughout the course of the season. So I haven't moved yet on Florida, but I'd certainly lean in that direction. Totals, I'd probably is an under spot just because of the fact that Boston blew it open in game 1. Florida ran away with it in game 2. And of course, Swayman got pulled, and that's probably helped the over, but we haven't had that game yet where, change of venues. Look what it did to the Rangers Hurricane series, where we saw the first 2 games go over, change of venues, and all of a sudden we got game 3 under last night with that Rangers Hurricane series. So this probably is a good spot to take the under, but I'm not on that. I lean Florida here. You know what? Actually, I'll make Florida official. I will make Florida official. I'm waiting to see, a couple of things with the lineup on the Florida side. But no, I like them at this part. This is more of a price point. Is Boston capable of winning tonight? Absolutely. If Swayman is, stands on his head, plays like he's done most of the playoffs. But there is that concern now, and I know they're going back to him. It wouldn't surprise me if he plays great, but for the first time in these entire playoffs, with the game 2 performance Florida put together, the cloak of invincibility has been removed from Jeremy Swayman. All right, in terms of he's human now. He finally got beaten. He finally got some pucks past him. They got him pulled from a game. Now how does Jeremy Swayman react to that? Now is the question. And like I said, the way I see it, Florida, I still think probably the better of these sides. Toronto, could easily win the first round, if not for better special teams or Jeremy Swayman. So at this point, I think Florida, and this is the way I'm going to do it. If Florida loses tonight, I'll probably bet Florida. I'll probably bet Florida more in game 4 if they lose tonight in game 3, because I don't think they're going 0-2 in Boston. I don't think that's happening. So if they lose tonight, we'll probably go with a bigger bet on Florida in game 4. So Florida for me minus, let me see, 120. Looks like it is, minus 122 at Heritage.
Minus 122 at Heritage. Another thing that I think works for us.
Well, actually, it's better at Betway. Sorry. Minus 120 at Betway. We'll go with that.
Another thing that's working for us here, I think, is minus 120 flat?
Yeah, flat at Betway. Yeah, minus 120.
So one thing is the fact that the floodgates opened up in the last game and they over cashed, and it was not an over hockey game. 80% of tickets, 77% cash on the over. I like that. And then on the money line, there are a lot of believers in the Boston Bruins bouncing back here. And Brent Cook believing in it. Slatsy saying Panthers 1-5 last 6 versus Bruins, but I'm still on the Panthers.
The way I see it is I want to be on Florida tonight because what if they win? And if they win, we'll take the money. And game 4, probably won't bet aside. But if they lose tonight, we'll go bigger in game 4 on Florida because I really like them in game 4 if they lose tonight. They're a great road team. I don't see them getting swept in Boston. I see this 2-2 worst case scenario going back to Florida after game 4.
I don't think the Bruins can hang. They have so much character and they're getting the absolute most out of their lineup. And I like Montgomery. I think he emotes a little too much on the bench, but it's hard not to. These are big games, and I just the Panthers, they want to hurt you. They don't just want to beat you. They want to break you. This is the kind of team that you want in the playoffs, and we all want Florida, New York Rangers in the Eastern Conference Final, which I think we are going to get. Nate Dogg on Reinhart to score tonight, 4 assists for him in the last game, and Bobano and I both on the Panthers. I bet it as soon as I could at minus 115, and first period under 1.5, full game under 5.5 for me, and Bobano also on the Panthers. Let's move on to game 2, 10 p.m. Eastern, West second round. Edmonton Oilers, Vancouver Canucks, Rogers Arena in Vancouver, BC. I have bet the Vancouver Canucks at plus 105.
Someone's starting to believe in his team again.
It's not that I'm believing in the Canucks. The demons have come out in Edmonton. The ghosts of playoff past. I know they were a very storied franchise in the 80s and won the cup in 90 without Gretzky, but made it to the Stanley Cup final with Pronger and all that. But I think that maybe it was a little harsh by me. What the Canucks did was very, very special. my dad was at the game. He said it was the most enjoyable hockey game he's ever been to in his entire life. 77 years old, season ticket holder, since the 70s. And Draisaitl, obviously, it's not cramps. I mean, we're not idiots. And Henrique and Draisaitl is so important to this hockey team. So my plan was McDavid props, but I don't think Draisaitl plays tonight. I think Draisaitl is legitimately hurt, and I don't know. At this point, like Jared Allen's rib injury. I mean, is Draisaitl done for the playoffs? Draisaitl and Henrique are such. Now, Draisaitl, of course, is more important than Henrique. Draisaitl's size, his one-timers on the power play, and then taking the pressure off of McDavid. And everybody in Vancouver believes. They know that the Oilers are the favorites. They know all that, and they just believe. They believe. They have a third-string goaltender in, and they believe. So I moved on the Canucks at plus 105 last night. Let's take a look at what the line history has done right now with this one. This total is sitting at 6. It is got up to 6.5 for a cup of coffee and then came back to 6. So at this point, there's been a slight move to the under. And on the money line here, the Canucks are now at a plus 110. There was a big move to the Canucks yesterday, 11-cent move during our show. And I thought that plus 105 was very telling. It's coming back to the Oilers. Maybe that means Draisaitl's in. Maybe it means that Draisaitl's in. But I cannot bet McDavid prop. Now, maybe you want a McDavid shot prop, But my plan was to bet him for a goal and over 1.5 points. But if he is now, obviously, Hyman is playing great. They have nice pieces to their puzzle, but it all goes through Draisaitl and McDavid. And if Draisaitl's not there, and you can plan everything in your arsenal to defend McDavid, I think that the Oilers are in big trouble. And I would have some interest in maybe backing them in Game 3, heading back to Edmonton, but I can't do it here. The Canucks power play is at 12.5% in the playoffs. It stumbled the whole second half of the year. They're, Quinn Hughes is the straw that stirs the drink, and the Edmonton Oilers penalty kill has still not allowed a goal. I mean, all that shapes up for an under, but still, I can't go there at this point. We talked about Zadorov. I don't know how you can't stop talking about it. I don't know how Calgary can get rid of him. Now all of a sudden he just brings so much size to the Canucks defense. And we talked about the Oilers defense being a tiny bit taller, but not as heavy. Zadorov has brought so much to the Canucks, and Dakota Joshua, and they're stepping up. They're stepping up. What happened when Draisaitl was down, and even when Draisaitl came back, half of Draisaitl, the Canucks dominated. They outshot Edmonton 8-4 in the third period, 19-8 over the final 2 periods. Everybody in Vancouver is busting out the seams. They're all trying to stay in their shoes. People are going crazy for this. This is the biggest hockey-starved city, other than, let's say, Buffalo, in the world. And then in Buffalo and Vancouver, I take higher. I don't care if the Leafs haven't won a cups in 67. They won cups. Canucks have never been able to sip beer out of Lord Stanley's mug. I'm on the Canucks at plus 105. I'd be interested in backing Edmonton in Game 3. I do not expect Draisaitl in the lineup. Take it away, Bobano. Oilers, Canucks.
We're going to go with 3 bets in this game. 3. We got 1 team total, 1 full game total, and 1 player prop. The team total is, and this has been an angle that's been very good. I think the only time it's hasn't cashed in this round is Game 2 with Boston, Florida. The team that loses the previous game, scoring a goal in the first period. I've been on these bets a lot, and I know for a fact it's been profitable so far. And that's where I'm going tonight with this team total. We're going to take Edmonton to score in the first period. We're going to lay some juice, minus 165. But to me, it's juice worth laying. Coming off the loss they did. We saw them score an early goal against Vancouver in Game 1. I feel very good about them getting on the board early. in the first period coming off that loss, even without Draisaitl tonight, assuming he doesn't play. So I like that look. Minus 165, bet MGM, Edmonton to score in the first period. I'm back on the over here in this game as well. I cashed an over in game one. Even without Draisaitl, over 6, minus 112 at Pinnacle. I'm on that here tonight. I can't ignore series history with these two teams. You go back to the start of last season, 7 of 8 meetings have had at least 6 goals between these two teams, including game one of this second round series the other night. So going back to the start of last season, 7 of 8 head-to-head meetings, Oilers Canucks, at least 6 goals scored. Hard to ignore that. And when I look at this game, Draisaitl being out hurts, there's no doubt. But we always see sometimes first game without the key player, everyone steps up a bit. I like that they might be putting Warren Foegele potentially tonight on the top line with McDavid and Hyman. That's what the line rushes looked like in practice yesterday. And what I like about that is you got more of an offensive guy there to play with McDavid. And with all due respect to Matthias Janmark, he's not going to give you much offensively. So I understand why you put him on that line, Chris Knobloch, maybe for a little defensive presence. But I think that makes that line a little more dynamic, a little more dangerous to defend when you put a skill guy, like Warren Foegele with Zach Hyman and Connor McDavid. I'm waiting for that to be confirmed. If that was confirmed 100%, I'd be putting on my official card for the show, Warren Foegele to score a goal. I will be betting it for sure, but I just want to make 100% certain that he's going to be on that top line with McDavid and Hyman. But if he is, getting Warren Foegele at plus 440 at Botano to score a goal is an incredible price. And definitely one I think is worth betting, and I will be betting, but I want to wait to see that that's official. So Oilers to score in the first, over 6, minus 112. And the player prop I mentioned, you already mentioned it. He had no shots on goal in game one. He knows that. Everyone's probably going to tell him about that in the interviews leading into game two, that he didn't have a single shot on goal. With Draisaitl out, he knows he's going to have to be even more impactful here in game two after losing game one. And that's Connor McDavid. So I think it's a good prop. I think it makes sense. Over 3.5 shots on goal for Connor McDavid, plus 124 at DraftKings.
Wow, that's a big plus line for 4 shots for McDavid.
Just to get 4, yeah. And I know they block a lot of shots, Vancouver, and for the most part, they can be a low shots on goal allowance team. They certainly were great in game one, keeping the shots on goal to a minimum. But you got to think Edmonton's going to have a little bit bigger push at even strength. Because 5-on-5, they got dominated. I thought they got dominated by Vancouver at 5-on-5 in game one. They did not have the puck much in the third period. They were stuck on 14 shots on goal with less by the time we got under 10 minutes left in the third period. That's not good enough at 5-on-5 even strength. I think Connor McDavid knows that. I think the Oilers know that. So betting the shots on goal over 3.5, it looks like a cheap number for McDavid. I agree it is. I think it's worth a bet. The concern is Vancouver's done a nice job blocking shots, making sure Shelovs does not see as many pucks, keeping the shots on goal to a minimum. But I get the feeling there's going to be more of an emphasis. Fire away at this young goalie, see what he's got in him.
I like your action. Razor has dropped his full Churchill Downs card, Twin Spires action. Thank you, Razor. Can't wait for Preakness next week, my man. Razor Sharp Picks giving us all that work that goes into his Churchill card, handing it out to us. Thank you.
I'm with
Razor.
you. I mean, it feels like an Edmonton spot. I think Edmonton's going to respond with a stronger effort. I'm not ready to bet that it's going to be a win. I'm just not when I see the 5-on-5 play like it was in game one.
But they have ghosts.
Yeah.
They understand what could happen.
Yeah.
And that they could have a full summer of being second guessed and McDavid being second guessed. And
there was a great quote from Tocchet. You talk about the ghosts for Edmonton. Let's talk about the resilience. Let's talk about the guts. Let's talk about the heart of Vancouver. And let's talk about how Rick Tocchet in his press conference said yesterday, when I got this job, first thing I did was when I first got here, it seemed like when we did something bad or a goal went in or we screwed up and the game was getting away from us, we just lost our confidence. Everyone on the bench sunk, heads down, that losing mindset, that losing mentality that, oh, here we go again. Rick Tocchet said he spent months trying to get this team to say, you know what, you give up a goal, you push forward, you play the next shift, you don't lose your confidence, you don't get down on yourself, you don't get upset, you don't get frustrated. He said that about 3-4 times in his press conference yesterday. We spent so much time that when something bad happens, to make sure the players don't get frustrated, because that was happening a lot with this franchise when he first got there. And now look at them. They're able to come back and beat Nashville in the first round in that crazy comeback. They're able to erase a 4-1 deficit last night in the third to the Edmonton Oilers. That's signs that Rick Tocchet getting this team to, hey, keep playing when something bad happens. Don't get frustrated. None of this woe is me bullshit. Keep going. And look, they've got the confidence to come back. And you mentioned it, Edmonton ghosts and blowing a lead like that. Where's the resilience meter currently lie with right now as far as confidence goes? At the moment, it's Vancouver.
Yeah, Rick Tocchet has changed so much in the room with this hockey team. And Jay Stone says, wait a minute, Leon came back and played in the third period, played slowly, played poorly. We don't know, Jay Stone. Again, this can blow up in your face. Luka we still cashed his player prop point under, but Luka looked great in that first quarter and showed how he can handle adversity and injuries, and maybe Draisaitl can as well. I just in the NHL, there's a rich history of lying about injuries in the playoffs, and I think this is just the clearest lie that we've seen. And I'm surprised with legalized gambling that they can do that. I really am. But it's just part of, I guess, I don't know. It's strange that they say that he's got.
It has documented, accurate injury reports, daily basis from every team, and the status for the upcoming game, hours before the game. And if you're not ready to make that determination hours before the game with a certain player, tough shit.
Jay Stone says, so funny how everybody flips after one game. How's that Florida game go? How'd that Dallas game go? Cash. Jay Stone. Yeah, I cashed with Florida in game 2 very easily. I cashed with Dallas on the -1 line, plus 127 last night. So, yeah, I'm not sure who you're speaking of, but it worked spectacularly well for me.
Glad you cashed Dallas -1 and anyone that had Dallas money line as well. Because the one thing I said on the Ice Guys show yesterday, and it also speaks to why I like team totals. I mean, if you had the team total, you never had to sweat that ridiculous attempt at a comeback, by the Colorado Avalanche last night. And that's the great thing about the team total. Like, we hit the 4 goals for Dallas, late in the second period. And right in the moment, and I said this, knowing they blew game 1, Dallas, I'm like, when it got to 4-0, I'm like, I've cashed my bet already, Dallas team total. I feel at ease. I never thought for a million years Colorado would make it that excruciating at the end. But sure enough, they did. But Dallas hung on, and I'm glad for the people that had the money line, or in your case, the -1.
Oh, it was so scary. I'm not going to lie. It was not fun. That third period was not fun.
It's just the stress that I avoided because I had team total, and the stress that, unfortunately, anyone that had Dallas money line and -1 had to go through. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. That's a horrible feeling. And thank gosh he pulled through.
The fear, though, with that comeback was they did that without McKinnon. And the guy, I mean, it's just like they're a scary, scary hockey team. Swiggy says Oilers don't have the comeback ability like Colorado. I think they do. I believe they do. If Draisaitl's healthy, they have there is electric offensively as Colorado. Maybe it's arguable, but so yeah. And Steve G saying mission accomplished, Habs 1-1 on the road, no doubt. Okay, so here in game 2 this evening, Bobano on the Oilers first period team total over a half. He's on the over 6, and he's on McDavid over 3.5 shots at plus 124. I'm on the Canucks plus 105, and I saw the ghosts. I saw the nervous energy. I saw the, oh no, we're gonna have another summer of being second. I saw this is a team they're walking in the arena like that. Like they need to go home to Edmonton. They need to go home now, not read the newspaper in Edmonton, but go home and hear the crowd believing in them and bounce back. But we'll see. We'll see how it all bangs out. But yes, I'm on the Canucks plus 105. And you guys know I got a $500 parlay on the Oilers and the Panthers to win their series at a little over plus money. So this is game 2. This is the Canucks with everything going for them. And so we'll see how it bangs out. All right, let's move on to Saturday night or Saturday night action. Saturday, May 10th, NHL breakdowns here with Bobano. Let's get right into it. East second round, game 3, Rangers leading the series 3-0. Rangers were an excellent road team in the regular season, 25-12-4. Carolina Hurricanes were a very good home team, 27-10-4. But the Rangers have all the momentum here in this series, and you look at who is leading them. Their best players are stepping up. Their goaltender is stepping up. I mean, that is the combination. That is the recipe for playoff success. Shesterkin, 7-0, 2.01 goals against average, .935 save percentage. Kochetkov came in and played well. I know what Billy Friedrich is saying about him not speaking to the press after the game. We know he's a very emotional goaltender, and he played his heart out there. I expect him to be back between the pipes. I think everybody does here for game 4. The Hurricanes power play, which was so deadly after they picked up Gensel, is 0 for 15 now in this series. 0 for 15. Another 0 for 5. They've gone 0 for 5 in all 3 playoff games.
The Rangers, think about this. The Rangers have scored more goals on the Carolina power play than Carolina has scored.
How dangerous did they look shorthanded? It was just one after another, odd man rush. It was just...
they had several attempts shorthanded in the first period on those early Carolina power plays too, 100%.
It was absolutely wild. Now, Rocco Rogers says, I don't know why people were doubting them yesterday. Rangers have been and are the better team. You're absolutely right, and you guys have made a lot of money off of them. That was my lone loss, was Carolina -1 yesterday. The Rangers power play 34.5% in the playoffs, penalty killing 93.8%. Again, we talk about recipes for playoff success. They're all right here in this New York Rangers squad. Saturday night at 7 p.m., this game pops off. Right now, Carolina's -150. They opened up at -142. We've had an 8-cent move towards them at Pinnacle. From a total side of things, this is 5.5 juice to the under, -111. Now, I went to the well. First period under, full game under, and it was cash. And the beauty of getting to talk this out is because I want to go back to the first period under. First period under 1.5 in a elimination game when there's so much on the line. And Shesterkin is what's my... I would predict that the shots will be 15-4 Carolina, and it's either 0-0 or 1-0 New York Rangers after the first period. Shesterkin's playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be on but I did want to talk it out with you guys. So what we saw last night, Panarin, but it's not Panarin, it's Trocheck. It's always Trocheck and Zibanejad. Look what Zibanejad's doing. Now, Kreider and Panarin have been spectacular, but these two centers are playing out of this world. Shout out to our guy, Justin McKelvey, gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership, and Jay Stone getting it. I love that. Thank you so much for your support, Justin. We love capping with you, man. Trocheck, 7-game point streak to start the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's 12 points in those games. That goal was absolutely beautiful. I mean, that was just the Trocheck pass and then the Panarin, that perfect deflection. I mean, who's it remind you of? It reminds you of Hank Sedin and Daniel Sedin. I mean, but it was, just spectacular. It was absolutely spectacular. Look at Lafreniere. Look what he's doing now. I mean, this is a very, very deep hockey team. And Philip Hedl comes back and looks like he never left. I mean, this team is deep and getting deeper. Now, Sebastian Aho is 6 assists in 3 games. They're going after it. And we talk about Trocheck's point streak. Don't forget Zibanejad, 7-game point streak. Zibanejad and Trocheck have been scoring in every single game of the playoffs. They're just... I'm not going to get in the way of them. It's not worked out. But I do think the first period under 1.5 should be a look. I'm that Heat in the house. You were hilarious on yesterday's show, man. A lot of laughs from you guys in the chat. You guys were money in the bank. Billy Friedrich, I'm at Heat. All you guys were delivering. Take it away, Bobano. We have Rangers, Carolina Hurricanes, Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, as far as this game goes, look, we have evidence too. Carolina can't get swept. The Eastern Conference Final last year against the Florida Panthers. Yes, they can get swept. Will they get swept? I think it's hard to say that they won't get swept because it's been so deflating the way they've lost these games. Because you could argue at 5-on-5, they've been a little bit more of this series, a little bit better than the Rangers as far as territory and offensive zone time, no doubt. But I can't deal with the people. And look, there's a few people, even a good friend of mine, Andrew McGinnis, and people that have said, well, the Carolina Hurricanes have been the better team in this series and don't deserve to be down, now 3-0 in this series. Well, guess what? 5-on-5, yes, you could say Carolina's had the better of the play, but guess what? Finishing your chances matters. Face-off prowess matters. Special teams matters. Elite goaltending matters in a playoff series. And that right now is where the New York Rangers are winning this series. And teams deserve credit for being able to finish chances. Rangers are, Carolina's not. Teams need to be given credit for winning in the face-off circle. Rangers are, Carolina's not. Teams need to be given credit for much, much, much far superior special teams in a series. Rangers have it, Carolina doesn't. So I'm not buying into the, wow, it's 3-0, but Carolina is the better team because they've had more shots and they've had more chances and they've had more ozone time at 5-on-5. So I think the other stuff matters. And you've got to put that into your evaluation of truly who the better team is in a playoff series. And, to me, that's been the Rangers. I'm going to take the Rangers team total in this one. Over 2.5 is a pretty cheap price with that. I like the idea of betting that as opposed to the money line because look, Carolina has a very good team, the heart to not want to get swept on home ice. And the one thing that's different between this series and last year when they got swept by Florida is the Game 4 sweep happened in Florida. It happened on the road last year. This is at home, in that great building with those fans that can get really loud at playoff time. So Carolina is not going to want their season to end on home ice, but are they going to be good enough to avoid that fate? I'm not willing to bet it. I am willing to bet the Rangers get 3 goals, though. And the great thing about betting the team total is we get ourselves into a situation where Rangers have a third period lead like they did last night in Game 3. Floodgates open because then Rod Brindamore's got to pull, presumably Kochetkov, in net early, and you're going to get all kinds of opportunities for the Rangers to tack on 1, maybe even 2 goals, in the final 5 or so minutes of the third period with Carolina season on the line, pulling the goalie maybe earlier than usual. So I think that's the move. Would be over 2.5 minus 108. I think if you like under, you do what Jimmy's doing. First period only. Elimination games, you're kind of playing with your bankroll a little bit if you're going full game over in these elimination games, knowing what could happen in the third period of these games if the team that's facing elimination is trailing. So for me, Rangers team total over 2.5. You can get that at minus 108 at Pinnacle.
I like the look. Look makes a lot of sense. Nate Dog 420 saying there's talk Brindamore's not there next year. I don't know how he can survive a sweep, and I love him. I love him. And he'll get hired right away. But I don't think he can survive another sweep, personally. So, and also, if the Hurricanes can win this game, you might think about them in Game 5.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, we'll have to wait but you might think about them building momentum. We're not saying win the series or anything like that, but just building momentum.
I'll be honest, I would be interested in Carolina if they somehow avoid the sweep and it gets back to MSG.
Yeah. I would, but then we're like the Rangers. The Rangers haven't won, but they don't have ghosts.
No,
the Oilers.
And it would also be the first loss of the Stanley Cup playoffs for the New York Rangers if they lose tomorrow night too. So it's not just that we don't get the sweep and you give Carolina a little life, but it's also first loss, bubble burst type of theory. Maybe it can be difficult to get the traction back again immediately in the next game.
Yeah, it's
when you gone this long without losing.
But remember what when the poker boom happened or horse racing during the pandemic? And I don't mean to get romanticize the situation too much, but I imagine if the New York Rangers play the Florida Panthers in the Eastern Conference Final, it'll be the best thing that happened to hockey in America in a long time because it'll be magic. And if it coincides with America rolling in the World Championships, possibly winning their first. They play Sweden. Did that game happen already? Did they play already, or is that tonight? Is that happening any minute?
That's later. I think that's a 1:00 game. USA and Sweden. Yeah.
Which I don't like USA in Game 1, and I think I might go back in on USA's got to get comfortable over in the World Championship over in Europe. They got to get comfortable. And remember how many games it takes. You play a lot of games before you get into the knockout stages. So
Yes.
if America loses to Sweden, I think we dip back in. I think we bet them again, but that's another thing here. Okay. Robert Martin says, how many tickets on the Rangers? Robert Martin, it's, because we are right now 31 hours and 15 minutes before puck drop. We're not going to get a great idea. There's 863 tickets in. We know that 56% of tickets and 76% of cash are on the Hurricanes. I think the market showed us that with the 8-cent move at Pinnacle. And on the total right now, 76% of tickets, 77% of cash on the over. And I think that a lot of people bet overs, even though Bobano does it perfectly with the third period overs. A lot of people bet overs in the elimination games because there's a real possibility of things opening up in a monster way.
But you notice I'm not putting over 5.5 pregame on my card. I think this is going to be something like 1-1 or 2-1 going into the third, and then that's when you pounce. That's when you bet the live over. That's when you hit it.
Wow, USA popping off at 2 p.m. today.
That's a great game. Oh yeah, I'll be watching.
God, yep. I want to watch that so badly. Wow, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm with the masses. I took a shot on that USA to win it too. I just think that roster's phenomenal.
I was waiting for Crosby to be announced in. Waiting for him to be announced in. I was so certain he was going to be in.
John Tavares is on his way though. Save the day.
Oh, Johnny T. Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh, that's fun. Yep. Oh, I love that about Johnny Tavares. I love that. Oh, I didn't know that. That's great.
I give him credit in the world. He's a veteran. He doesn't have to participate in that. It's been another just a terribly disappointing end to another Toronto Maple Leaf season, especially for him as the captain. And for him to say, you know what, I still want to play. I still want to represent my country. Go over there playing a World's Championship because he hasn't had a chance to play in many of these because he's been in the playoffs all these years, even going back to when he was with the Islanders. So I credit him for, look, say what you want about Tavares. He's got his faults. He's got his flaws. We get it. But I give him all the credit in the world for wanting to participate.
I thought he played well in the playoffs. I thought he played well in that series against Bruins. And that when he cut to the net for that overtime winner by Nyes, that's I would show that clip to Carter over and over and over again and say, that's how you go to the net. That's how you make something out of nothing.
Charge the net, screw up the coverage, and then someone comes in, cleans it up. That's what happened.
All right, let's roll on the next spot on the board. Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, we have Game 3. The Dallas Stars at the Colorado Avalanche. Wow. The Stars sent a message. Rupi Hintz finally stepped up. The Stars sent a message. They said, this is going to be a series. This is going to be a series because the way Colorado ran roughshod over a very good Winnipeg Jets team was mind-boggling. It was eye-opening. And then they started doing it immediately to Dallas in Game 1 in Dallas. This is a very, very dangerous Colorado Avalanche team. And I've talked about not thinking they're tough enough, but thank God for Josh Manson, because nobody's ever going to say he's not tough enough or he's not. I mean, what a Manson, I should say Manson family, because people will go to a different Manson. We're talking about the hockey Manson family. But man, Josh is a monster, just like his dad, and a great playoff player and a great leader. And wow. Ottinger stepped up, 2.24 goals against average, 914 save percentage now in the playoffs. He was very good, but man, you just start getting so scared. No lead is safe against the Avalanche. Avalanche power play in the playoffs, 38.1%. Now their penalty killing is 72.7%. Stars power play at 30.4%. They have to take advantage of that. Let's get into the line history here for Saturday night action. We have Dallas, the total at 6.5 minus 113 to the under. It's felt like there's been sharp money on the under in these games. I don't know how you can bet an under in a Colorado Avalanche game. I don't know how you do it. You're never safe. It's never comfortable. I mean, even betting against Colorado last night 4-0, and I'm like, if they score one, oh no, when have you ever thought that? It's just crazy. Colorado is sitting at minus 131. That's cheap. Why is it so cheap, Bobano? Why is it so cheap? Opening up minus 129, now minus 131. I find that very, very cheap. And I'm not saying I'm betting it or anything like that. We're still a ways away from Saturday night action. So, Game 1, Stars blew a 3-0 lead. Game 2, a 4-0 lead. Looked like it was going to go when that penalty with the extra attacker. I mean, it just looked like it was all over. Rupee Hintz had done nothing. One empty net goal, 4 points. Sagan had no goals, 3 assists. The playoffs, scored a big shorthanded goal. Heiskanen scored 2. But Hintz was a guy who really stepped up. Now, watching Colorado come back without Rantanen or McKinnon, who didn't get a point for the first time in the playoffs, it scares me even more. Dallas penalty kill, 3 for 3. They allowed they went 0 for 2 in that game 1. It was very important. But that hit from Jamie Benn was
what a shit rocking. Yeah,
it took my breath away. Like I was just like, and I've questioned his character a lot, but right now, when you have a guy with the C on his chest throwing his body around legally,
with the Avs after that hit, yeah, he's mentally in. He's mentally in this year. We can't question it this year.
No. And they're running him, and they're going to get penalized for running him. That was the kind of hit that just makes hockey what it is. That was completely legal. In my estimation. I know Bednar was upset. Why wouldn't he? And I bet you if I was coaching Colorado, I would have been upset, very upset. It depends what angle you saw that from. If you saw it from one angle, it looked like it was to the head. But if you saw it from the other angle, he put his chest through Devon Taves. He reached into his soul. I mean, oof. And it was the problem was, after the hit, Taves hurt his head, sort of, his head felt funny with the other player coming in, and credit to Devon Taves for coming back into the game. I have not moved on this, but I can't get over how cheap the Avs are in Game 3. Take it away, Bobano. Your breakdown for 10 p.m. Eastern action Saturday night, Avalanche Stars.
I lean Dallas, honestly. I do. Believe it or not, even though it kind of feels like this is a zigzag type of series, back and forth it goes. I don't know if I'll move on Dallas here in Game 3. I might sit back, wait, see if Colorado bounces back. And look, at home, that is a very, very tough place to beat them in. But I definitely think this is going to be one of those deals where it's kind of like I feel about Florida, where I feel better about Florida winning tonight than I do Dallas in Game 3. That's why I'm not on Dallas in Game 3. But if Dallas loses a Game 3, I'll be on them Game 4 for sure. This is right there with Florida as one of the best road teams in the NHL this year, the Dallas Stars, a team that went to Vegas, took Game 3 and Game 4 when they were down 2-0 in that series. So I don't see them getting swept in Ball Arena in Denver for as good as the Avs are there. But I think Game 4 might be the spot for Dallas as opposed to Game 3. What I am on here in this game is once again the over. Let me put this over in context, and I know it's 6.5. 7-1 to the over in the last 8 head-to-head meetings between the Stars and the Avalanche. And I'm actually going to go back to the pandemic season as well, between the Stars and the Avalanche. Remember, 2020 in the middle of the summer. It was August when they had the playoffs. That finished that season in the playoffs in Toronto and Edmonton in those 2 bubbles. And Dallas and Colorado played each other in the second round. It was a 7-game series. That's when Rick Bowness was still coaching Dallas. They played 7 times that playoff season, and all but 1 game went over the total in that playoff series. All but 1. So you see all but 1 game go over the total in 2020 when they played each other in the playoffs. 7-1 to the over the last 8 head-to-head meetings. We're already 2 overs in this series. What changes? Because I think for as good as Dallas is defensively, and I love Ottinger, I've got Dallas futures, as you know, Jimmy. We're all in on Dallas. I think they can get to the Stanley Cup final, but this series and this opponent does scare the hell out of me. And the reason for that is it doesn't matter how good the defense is with Lindell and Heiskanen and Tanev and Ottinger as an elite goalie. Look what Colorado can do. They can come from 4-0 down and make you sweat your ass off in the final few seconds like that last night. So it's not going to be easy. And that's the point about why does Colorado games always go over the total? You pose that question, I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't matter the goaltender, elite or not. It doesn't matter the defense core on the other side, elite or not. This team will find a way to produce. They will. And especially if you give them power play opportunities. And it's very difficult not to take penalties against them because of how fast they move the puck and how much speed there is on that entire Colorado team. So like I said, from a matchup standpoint, I don't know what changes. Even with Ottinger and that great D, Colorado will get their goals. I'm still not sold on the Colorado D or Georgiev fully. although he did make a couple of big saves to keep Colorado afloat, and he made a couple of good saves in overtime when they won game one, I still am not totally on the Georgiev train as far as confidence is concerned. So I don't see what changes, Jimmy. I'm going back to the well here, over the total here with Dallas and Colorado, and the best number is over 6.5 at let me just see here. Come on, load up here for me. Hold on, we'll refresh it. Yeah, over 6.5 at plus 100 at Baton at Bet99.
Over 6.5 at plus 100. Clearly the market is putting the Avalanche at a spot where they're going to take a ton of action. I've often said that there are actual gifts in NHL. That it's not. You don't need to really overthink things. If that is true, if I really believe that, I don't know how you don't take the Avalanche in Game 3 at home. I want the Avalanche Game 3 at home. Now that we've talked all, we saw what Dallas did in Vegas in Games 3 and 4 of that series, and we saw it firsthand. Can
Big
they do
difference
that?
though in terms of urgency, right? They're down 2-0 in that series going into Game 3. Now they're just 1-1. So I'm not saying they're not urgent, but not to that level, I think, as far as desperation. And there was a feeling in that Vegas Game 3 for Dallas, we got to have this one. I don't know if they're going to have that feeling tomorrow night.
I didn't think I would get here, but I just I don't, especially with the Avs coming back and McKinnon, Rantanen nowhere to be found, coming back home. I find it very difficult to not be I cannot be afraid that the market is setting this up for me to fall into this trap. But I think I get to the Avs on the minus.
I would say if you like Colorado, and I even say this to you, I know it sounds like you might move on the Avs money line, but I would do some kind of split with team total over 3.5 at plus money. You get a plus price on it, because what are the chances Colorado wins not scoring 4 goals? Very low, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hear that, but I kind of just lean to wanting the -1 line. I'm gonna have to sit with this for longer. Bobano on the over 6.5. Josh, I'd love to hear your takes, man. We love capping with you. He thinks the takes that we have are wild, and he's talking about how Ian was all over Carolina last night. I was all over Carolina as well. We make mistakes like you, Josh. You were all over the Bruins in Game 2, right? They lost 6-1. And that's just part of capping.
Yep.
Right. And we come out here, we give our angles, and we'd love to hear yours too. We love capping with you. But there you go. That is Colorado, Dallas. That is Saturday night NHL action. And on Saturday night, I'm going to be on the first period under 1.5 in New York, Carolina. Bobano Rangers team total over 2.5. And then we have Bobano on the over 6.5 at plus 100. And I think I get to the Avs. I think I get there. Okay, let's move on to NBA, move on to the hardwood here. There is no afternoon baseball today. So the first game 6:10, and on our Fridays, we close with baseball. So let's move on to NBA right now. East semifinals, game 3. New York leading the series 2-0. We're at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. You guys heard my full unadulterated take yesterday. I moved on the Pacers -4.5 and 6.5 as soon as I could. 4.5 first half, 6.5 full game. Look, we know, especially up here, when OG Anunoby leaves a game, you don't see him again for a month. It's just so there was no doubt in my mind that he was not going. There's no chance. There was zero chance he was going to be available to me, and this is nothing on calling him out as a player or playing through injuries. We've just seen it. That's all. We've seen it. So I knew he was going to be out. Yep. And Brunson looks hurt. You take out Randall, you take out Bogdanovich, then you take out Mitchell, and now you take out OG Anunoby. And how do they keep doing it? And look, we've talked about teams missing their star, stepping up. There's people who believe the Edmonton Oilers will do that if Draisaitl's not in the lineup tonight. Take 4 of them out, and then what? I mean, I can't sit here and expect the Knicks to continue stepping up. I just can't do it. And then if it's Hartenstein and Precious Achua on the 5 and 4, you can just shut down any creativity offensively down in the post. You can't they have a ton of character and they're playing their hearts out, those 2 guys. But how are they going to score? How, and the issue with the total is we know that the Pacers have one thing in mind. Let's run the Knicks into the ground. And that hasn't been a problem because of the Knicks' efficiency. We went over it yesterday. On Wednesday, the Knicks scored 130 points on 92 possessions. That's 141 per 100. That's the most efficient performance of any team in the last two postseasons. So if they can, I don't get it. I don't see how they can keep doing it. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen to Brunson out there? I mean, these guys, Hart, Brunson, the Villanova 3 are playing 45. They're sitting for a couple minutes a game. Right now, the spread is 7.5. And yeah, maybe I'm simplifying this too much. Look, I get it. This opened up at 6 and has moved to 7.5. It didn't move to 7.5 at Pinnacle until 2 minutes ago. It had been 7.5 at other books. Some are still at 7. From a total side of things, here we have a 222.5 minus 109 to the under. I honestly think this game goes under because the problem is the Pacers are just Pacers can't defend and they're going to run the ball down your throat. So it's in coin saying Florida money line minus 130 starting to show. I love that. LJ from H-Town, best bet Pacers team total over, says Pacers have cleared 115 7 straight games as home favorites. Let's copy and paste that here. Lock that down. And then we have, DC Capper on Indiana minus 7. Rick J saying if coach leaves TJ in his points and assists, 16.5 might be good. And pre-flop, Justin McKelvey's on Knicks game 1 in series. The problem is I think you've lost a chance. I should have bet the Pacers to win the series at plus 530 as soon as that game ended. That went down to plus 280. I'm not sure what it is right now, but that's being hammered. LJ from H-Town on that Pacers team total over. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this one. And then hear what Bobano has to say about this giant basketball game this evening. We have 63% of the tickets, 57% of the cash on the Knicks right now. We have 95% of the tickets and 96% cash on the over, and it's dropping. Is this the game where the Knicks let go? Let's hear what Bobano has to say. I kind of want to hit the under, but it's because I want to make a heavy bet that the Knicks won't have the efficiency. I think I've done that both Pacers for 4.5 and 6.5. Maybe I don't need to add to it right now. Take it away, Bobano. Knicks, Pacers.
So I'm already on the full game over and the Pacers team total over. But I am getting a little more concerned about the full game over with Brunson's status obviously up in the air. And I think he's probably going to go because he's a pretty tough guy, but you definitely don't want to bank on that fully. OG out, but I still might rock with that full game over because look, Brunson banged up. We'll see if he plays. That would hurt the Knicks offense clearly. I mean, the guy's scoring 40 almost every game here in the playoffs, but OG hurts them significantly defensively. There's no question about that. We saw that with the Knicks earlier this year when OG was out. They mentioned this on Ski and Dutch and Wham are good friends. That when OG was out earlier in the season, they were flying over the total, Knick games, flying over the total. And it's a huge loss defensively. We'll see if Brunson goes. The stronger bet for me is definitely the team total for Indiana. I think it's their spot all the way. Over 114.5, minus 110 at Pinnacle. I'm on that for sure. It's definitely the stronger of the two. But I'm gonna stick to my guns here with the full game over as well and put that on my card for the show here as well. Because look, Indiana's going to play at their pace, and it's fast. It's get the first shot. It's fast break points. It's play in transition. That's where they thrive. That's what they want to do. And I think you're going to see more of the same here going into game 3 tonight back home. And let's be honest too, in the Bucks series, I should say, in the first round, we saw Indiana have no problem playing fast. They didn't slow it down all that much. They did end up, of course, winning multiple of those home games by big scores. We saw 126-113 flew over the total, 120-98 flew over the total. All 3 home games against the Bucks in the first round went over the total. So, yeah, I'm going to stick to it with the full game over, which is 222.5 minus 104 at Pinnacle. And also, but what I like the most is that Pacers team total over 114.5 minus 110 at Pinnacle. The reason I prefer the team total is because if I had gone team total instead of point spread in game 2 in New York, we would have won because the team total went over, but Pacers didn't cover. And there's still a part of me that's a little worried about the Pacers defense. In game 1 and in game 2, they didn't shut the door when they had the lead. They let the Knicks back into it and let the Knicks really slice and dice them beyond halftime. That concerns me about laying the full 7.5 that we're seeing with Indiana here tonight in game 3. So I still feel the team total is a little bit of a safer option, at least for me. So Pacers team total over 114.5 and the full game over 222.5.
You got it. Locked in. And Nutflush Allen says I hammered the team total over on the Knicks last game, and now I'm on the team total under for the Knicks. That's how I do it. That can get me in on the under without the
I'll tell you what the score was in that last home game for the Pacers against the Bucks, and it's going to get, and it's got the chance to work out well. Actually it won't. That got to what, 218. This was 222.5, but something in the vicinity of 124, 100 for the Pacers. I could see it.
Mm-hmm. No, that was helpful. That was all helpful. I'm going to add the Knicks team total under here. 4.5.
I find even if this does get to a point where Indiana's up big and you need those garbage points, I find the garbage points are flowing a lot more in a lot of these games late.
They didn't last night.
Not last night in Boston, Cleveland. I will admit that. But before that, there were a lot of games where it's like, holy shit, look at all these points in the last 2 minutes with the benches emptied.
Yeah. Saturate says that 7.5 seems like a hell of a flip. And Truth Teller says the percentage of teams that end up coming back from 2-0 in a series is 7.3%.
Yeah.
All right. So Brizzy gave us TJ McConnell over 16.5 points and assists at -115 yesterday. I gave us Pacers -4.5 and 6.5. Today, Bobano gives us the over 22.5 and Pacers team total over 114.5. LJ from H-Town, best bet, Pacers team total over. And I'm adding the Knicks team total under. There's our guy BJ in the house. Joey Rivers said the Knicks could easily punt this game. Andrew G says the Pacers blow them out. Let's roll on to game 2 here. Game 2 this evening at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. West semifinals, game 3, Minnesota up 2-0. We're at the Target Center, Minneapolis, Minnesota. I bet the Nuggets +5 at -110 as soon as it came available. As soon as it was available, I moved on it. And I've wanted to add more the whole time. I wanted to add first quarter and first half here, but I haven't been able to do it. Justin McKelvey stacks play of the day is the Nuggets team total over at 99.5. And I plan on doing it. I almost did it again this morning, but I was like, you know what? Let's just keep working. It was a huge card, huge baseball card that we're going to be attacking. So I was like, I didn't stop. I thought, you know what? Talking it out again, how could that hurt? Right now, this total is at 205. It opened up at 204. It is juiced to the over at 205. On the spread right now, we are dealing with a 4. It's gone to 4 at -107 for Denver. It moved to 4 at Pinnacle at 11:22 a.m. this morning. It had still been 4.5 for a long time. In fact, at 10:53 a.m. this morning, that 4.5 was a straight pick'em. I think that it's going to be difficult after the domination that they showed without Rudy and with, all the confidence in the world. We saw what teams, with a ton of talent do when their backs are completely against the wall. We've seen it in NBA. We've seen it in NHL. We just saw it with the Stars down 2-0 heading to Vegas. And, I don't know if they win this basketball game. Look, I just believe in the championship pedigree of this team. They were embarrassed. Jamal Murray was humiliated. And we're talking about a team that didn't face adversity last year when they won the NBA championship. Now, they only lost once at home in the 2023 playoffs. So I have not added the first quarter and first half. BJ on the Nuggets +4.5. Troy Torrance on the T-Wolves trifecta with confidence.
Wow. So
it's going to be a lot of fun. And let's pull up the cash flow just to put a bow on this. You have 91% of tickets, 93% of cash on the over. It's moving in that direction. And then you have 78% of tickets and 81% of cash on the Timberwolves, and it's moving away from them. Rant says Cat is showing up, and he sure has. 8 for 11 in the first half with 20 points. Set the tone with that 61-35 lead. I would like to add first quarter and first half on the Nuggets, and I have my own trifecta, but I haven't bet it yet. Take it away, Bobano. I have bet the +5, but I haven't bet the first quarter, first half. Take it away, Bobano. Nuggets, Wolves.
The only thing keeping me off the Minnesota side here is because of what you just mentioned, the pedigree, the heart. Is there heart on this team, Denver? Because you'd think so. It's a championship winner last year. Jokic, Murray, Michael Porter Jr., KCP. All these guys were on that team last year. They're just going to go quietly into the night. It would be shocking if it did. But the thing is, you could have all the heart and you could have all the want to if you want in the world. Sometimes you're just not the better team. They're not the better team right now. Not in this matchup right now. Minnesota has locked them down. They have completely and utterly neutralized Jokic. They're throwing multiple bigs at him. They're throwing multiple bodies at him in the paint. You see how many fucking hook shots and layups and putbacks that guy is short-arming in and around the basket, especially the last game? That's Minnesota's defense causing him to do that shit. And you got to give them all the credit in the world for playing that way. Playing him tough, not giving him any space, not bumping on any pump fakes or anything like that. They are playing such disciplined, tenacious, in-your-face defensive basketball, Minnesota. They're contesting the perimeter. They're shutting down the perimeter game as well. This is as good a first, I would say, 6 games of a playoff run for a team at the defensive end of the court in a playoff season as I've seen in a very long time from this Minnesota Timberwolves team. And I'm not ready to bet against that. Even with this Denver heart and resilience and championship medal and championship pedigree, and you're going to hear all those words thrown about. So for me, and look, I'm already on I actually took Minnesota in this series after the first game against Denver. I grabbed a little Minnesota Western futures because I think they could do it right now. They absolutely could win the West. You really think people should be quake? People are giving the Celtics the championship already. A lot of people saying they beat anybody in the West. They may not even get past the Knicks in the East Final if I see some of the lackadaisical sleepwalk bullshit that I saw last night from them. I mean, it is totally absurd that people are giving the Boston Celtics the NBA championship already. But that's another story. Minnesota's a player, in my opinion. And like I said, I have no interest stepping in front of them. Pass for me, because I do respect the Denver, championship core that they have, that maybe tonight's a night they step up and show some pride, but I don't have the guts to bet it. Pass for me.
Yeah, I love competition. I think we all do. It's what got us to this point in life where we're capping all day, every day. And I kind of want to compete here with Troy's triple up on the Timberwolves, but I don't want that, to get in the way of, making smart bets. I like Nuggets +5 full game, but I want to compete. I want to stand behind my breakdown. So I'm gonna bet it. I'm gonna first quarter, first half as well. I'm gonna be on the full game. Well, why talk this shit if you're not gonna man up and back it up? So
yep.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be so I have Nuggets +5. I'm gonna add first quarter and first half here as soon as the show ends.
That home court's another thing that factors into as to why I have very little interest in Denver is because of the home court too. That Target Center, or whatever it's called there, and it's a 8:30 p.m. local. Think about it; it's a later start time in Minnesota on a Friday night because of television, because they want the doubleheader, so they can't start the Denver Minnesota game at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 local, because they want to wait till Pacers Knicks is over. So it's a 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 local time start. They're going to be boozed up. They're going to be fired up. Those T-Wolves fans in that building. And that's another thing Denver's going to have to overcome.
It's going to be as fun as sports gets this evening.
It is a great watch.
That popping off at 9:30
their belly, and does this Minnesota team really put them up against the cliff?
And then you have Canucks Oilers starting half an hour later. Good God! All right, stacks play today. Nuggets team total over 99.5. I'm with BJ and DC. A lot of guys on the other side. And J-Dub also with us on the night. It's going to be fun. Yeah, it's all love, Troy. Always will be, man. You know, we compete. It's fun to compete.
Yep.
You know, that's what got us here in the first place. All right, let's move on to Saturday NBA breakdown. Saturday NBA action here on Pub Sports Radio. 2 games on Saturday, May 11th. 3:30 p.m. Eastern, West semifinals, game 3. Dallas Mavericks, Oklahoma City Thunder, Paycom Center in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I'm sure that when Kid got the time at 3:30, he was probably a little upset. Even, you know, could you give me 5 more hours for Luka? Luka's banged up and playing with a ton of heart and a ton of soul. He was very, very good last night. He set the tone in the first quarter. Yeah, he didn't do much after that, but you set the tone, and that's so crucial for any basketball team. Let's get into the line history here for this one, 3:30 p.m. on Saturday. You know, we just finished watching these guys battle, and it was a hell of a basketball game. And Dallas showed, you know, some real character. Right now, Dallas is sitting at -3 at -101. This opened up -3 at -108. There's been a 7-cent move towards the Oklahoma City Thunder. From a total side of things here, sorry, 1 second. From a total side of things here, we are dealing with a 219.5. Opened up at 219, dropped to 219, or sorry, went up to 219.5. So a half-point move towards the over. We're not going to get a bunch of cash flow information. Damn, Jason, let's get that cash for you, man. Let's deliver for you here. From a cash flow wise, there's just 1,009 tickets in, 63% of tickets, 65% of cash on the Mavs. And on the total, we have 94% of tickets, 95% of cash on the over, a ton. Rick J saying Chet is trash. Look, I don't think so. I don't think he's trash by any means, but he did not look good last night. I think that he's got the type of character to bounce back, but yes, he did not look good last night. A lot of players did not look good. I mean, how bad, you know, it's funny how bad Giddey statistically looked. I didn't realize when I read how bad Giddey ended up being last night. I think Wiggins should be out there. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't realize that he was as bad as it turned out. Giddey, a game worse, -14 in the first half. He finished a -20. He's at -27 for the series. So Wiggins is going to be the guy over Giddey, I believe, as we move forward. Dallas in the playoffs playing at 92.94 possessions a game. That's gone up to 95.75 in the series. They're shot 35.6% in the playoffs. They're shooting 41.7 in the series. Oklahoma City with almost the exact same numbers that they've had in the playoffs. Luka, quote unquote, I think today was one of the hardest games I've had to play. I'm battling out there. I'm trying to do my best to help the team win. You get that sense from him and from Kyrie that they're doing whatever it takes to win. They don't care about the numbers. They're doing whatever it takes to win. And that was a huge, huge win. Now it helps when you have a third cog, and that cog being PJ Washington. He was amazing. 29 points. Very, very, very important to have him rolling like that. 7 threes. This kid's only 25. And PJ Washington, so Luka and Washington combined were 7 of 8 from 3 in the first quarter. Over the previous 4 games in the postseason, they'd shot 12 for 55 combined, those two from 3. So 12 for 19 for them combined. I mean, that's the difference. That is the difference. There's been so much love given to Daigneault. So much love, nonstop love. And I agree. But now we have to see him coach. Now we have to see what he's made of, because his rotation is probably too big. I know the garbage time made 13 players come into game 1. Really just 10 saw time in important situations. In game 2, the Dallas bench, which was considered far weaker than Oklahoma City's coming into this, tied them 30-30. That can't happen. The Thunder bench outscored Dallas in game 1, 42-23. So what do you do with the other Jalen? What do you do with Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace? I don't think Hayward, or Giddey should see much of the floor personally. But this all needs to be broken down here. So, Bobano, take it away. your thoughts for Game 3 of the West semifinals, Mavericks, Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, first loss of the playoffs last night for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of response this team has in them. But you look back on their body of work, you get to be 62-26, for the season, including playoffs. You know a thing or two about how to bounce back, how to adjust when you don't play well. And if you go back to early December and you look at how good this team has consistently been off a loss, it's been pretty damn special. How good the Oklahoma City Thunder have been, off these losses. And like I said with Dallas, we did see them split at home with the Clippers in the first round. And there's still that issue of Luka. Hell of a performance last night, gutting it out when that injury of his is bothering him. But I look at that situation for him, and I don't know if that's going to leave him at his best here. This is a short turnaround. Let's keep that in mind. You're going from Thursday night to Saturday afternoon, so it's not even the full 48 hours that Luka Doncic has at his disposal to get healed up, rest, and be as mobile as can be for Game 3 on Saturday afternoon. So I like OKC here. I'm going to take them as a small underdog here. Oklahoma City for me. I think it's a bounce back spot for the Thunder. I still think it's going to be a close, long series. I mean, I still thought it could be after Game 1. I know everyone was saying that Game 1 win was so dominant for the Thunder that it was going to be a short, close series. But like I said, I think the Thunder have a bit better game in them. Keep in mind, too, Thunder did not get last night. First of all, their defense suffered. Wasn't good enough. They gave up 49% from the perimeter. That's not happening again. Even with Dallas at home, I cannot see Dallas shooting that well from the perimeter again, 49%. Plus, we look at the game last night, and it was a quiet night from a lot of the supporting cast. Wiggins didn't give you that punch. Josh Giddey only had 8 points. Shea was amazing. Chet Holmgren didn't have his best necessarily. I thought Jalen Williams and Shea were pretty good. Other than that, they didn't get a lot of the supporting cast stepping up. The thing for Dallas, too, they did have a couple anomalies. Doncic was great. P.J. Washington popping for 29 points was really a huge factor last night for Dallas. Like I said, I think Oklahoma City, they've been good off a loss. They're getting a nice number here, +3. I expect this to be a very close game. And there were times when Dallas was up big and Oklahoma City fought back. Third quarter, Oklahoma City took the lead, at one point. So, Dallas got the job done yesterday. Credit to them. Luka with a great performance. But him being that good again, less than 48 hours with that injury he's dealing with, I just don't know, if he's going to be able to put the team on his back like he did in Game 2. And when he's not able to, it means Kyrie's got to go off. And Kyrie has, kind of been held in check in 2 games by this Thunder team. So I like the spot. I like the number we're getting here. So I'm going to take it. Oklahoma City +3.5. -112 at Bet Rivers.
+3.5 at -112 for Bobano. Yeah, I'd like to get involved with them as well. I agree that the afternoon start probably hurts Luka's preparation. And Oklahoma City just got rocked, just got slapped in the face. And I think that is a nice area to back them. And I also though fear the Mavericks in the most important moments of the basketball game. Because of that, because of their poise under pressure, their poise in big moments, which I think could win them the series. Now, look, Shea makes everything look effortless, but we just haven't seen this Thunder in situations this massive. So I kind of want to double up with Thunder first half, full game. Just because I do think that they come out strong. And if I say they come out strong, that would be also first quarter. I certainly am not going to triple up on the spot here. But I like where you're at. I'm going to be involved with you as well on the Thunder. I'm just going to figure out exactly how to do that. That is Game 1 on Saturday. Bobano has moved on the Thunder. We move on to Game 2, 8:30 p.m. Eastern East semifinals. It is a tied series, 1-1 in Cavs Boston. I was fortunate to cash the under last night. It's funny. I was so adamant with DC that the Boston Celtics wouldn't score 120. I cannot believe that I was going to lose the under last night. until being very fortunate in garbage time, basically. Boston just didn't show up. Now, we've seen them not show up against the Heat in the exact same situation and come back on the road into Miami and destroy them. Does that happen here? I would say that the difference between what happened in the Heat series and in this Cleveland series is Donovan Mitchell's been the best player in this series. In this series, we all know that Tatum, fundamentally has more going for him as a basketball player than Spider, but in this series, Donovan Mitchell is the best player on the floor. Throughout both games, the team is 27 points better when he's on the floor. The Cavaliers, they're 28 points worse when he sits. The difference in game 2 was they got bench production, or not bench production, because Levert coming off the bench was great, but Mobley and Okoro, they got production from players not named Donovan Mitchell, and Mitchell didn't need to score every basket, with Levert stepping up. So this series is being played at 92.25 possessions a game. The Cavaliers finally shot well. I mean, we haven't seen them shoot well all playoffs long, and they finally shot well. Levert was a monster. So Mobley, Okoro, and Levert combined for 35 points. Through the first 8 playoff games that they played, they averaged 25.4. So Mobley was so strong, but Levert 21 points in 27 minutes. So we talk about PJ Washington. Is he going to be able to deliver at the level he did in game 2? And a lot of people are saying, no, he's not going to be able to. And that's why I'm on the Thunder. You need an outlier performance. You need an outlier performance away from your best players to win these hugely important basketball games. The Cavs got outlier performances, especially from Levert. Will that happen again is the question. That is the question. So let's just quickly take a look at the line history here for this one, and then hand it over to Bobano. And then it is our full MLB card that was broken down. This total opened up at 212.5, and it's now at 211. So the total has dropped, a point or a point and a half from what we saw yesterday. This spread has dropped 5 points from 13 or 13.5 yesterday to 8 or 8.5. Cleveland right now, it opened up at plus 7.5. They're now plus 8.5. We saw the Celtics completely dominate after this happened in game 2 of the Heat series. Does it happen again? Bobano, 96% of tickets, 97% of cash is on the over. And it's 50-50 with the ticket count. And 62% of the cash is on the Cavs. So bigger bets are coming in on the Cavs. Is it time to hammer the Boston Celtics? Bobano, take it away. We have game 3 in Cavaliers Boston.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned here, the Boston first half, I'm interested. I don't know about the full game, but because the way I see it, if they don't have a good first half, they're in some serious trouble, on the road here in Cleveland on Saturday night. But they've been I can't get that game 3 out of my mind in Miami. Now, I think Cleveland's a better team than Miami, but they lost in this spot in game 2 against Miami at home, and they bounced back, and they were up by 20, I think it was, or close to it at halftime in game 3 in Miami, and they rolled the victory, and the full game covered as well. So I do think Boston probably bounces back, wins this game. They are still the better team, but I am concerned about how they can just shut it on and shut it off like a tap. I mean, that's not a winning mindset. Winning mindset is put your foot down and play well and play with focus every game. And there's been now 2 games in these playoffs where we didn't get that, from the Boston Celtics. I'm definitely going to take the first half for Boston here in this game. I think that's definitely, and look, they've been a good first half team all season. This has been the number. This has been the spot to back them. Minus 4.5, minus 106 at Pinnacle with Celtics first half. But I don't know if I'm going to take full game. I would kind of lean that way here, but you mentioned it. Mitchell's playing a heck of a series so far, and if they do have that predictable tough start, Boston after getting blown out in game 2, it's hard to envision for me Boston having a bad first 24 minutes here after what happened in game 2, regardless of the fact that Cleveland is a tougher foe this round than Miami. I think you're going to get a good start from Boston. I don't think I want to double up I lean to the -8 too, but I don't think I want to double up. I feel more comfortable, confident with the fast start, with the good start from Boston, with the focus being there from opening tip, which obviously it was not last night. So Celtics -4.5, -106 for me first half.
Yeah, I would like to back the Celtics here. Chase Jasing, I think Cleveland, my favorite play of the weekend. They haven't lost yet at home. I'll keep rolling. I wanted to also see what the feeling was like in the chat. I'd like to fade what we saw. Andrew G says Celtics will be hyper focused. Brent Cook also on the Cavs +8. I'm seeing more Cavs love than I really expected. Troy Torrance says I think the Cavs are live to win this series. And Brahma B says I honestly think Celtics are broken. I don't. I think that we back the Celtics here. I think I don't want to get too extreme, but it just feels like they're going to come in and roll. And, first quarter, first half, full game, they're going to come in after, getting embarrassed. I think the Nuggets and answering back, but it's a bad comparison. Both teams were embarrassed, but the Nuggets were humiliated as defending champs at home, where the Celtics just did this in the series prior. So, maybe that's a bad comparison. Chase says Allen out for the series. They're being mum about it, but we think so. Or we think he's out for at least another 5 days. It's those rib injuries are so tricky to heal. So yeah, I would like Boston, and I guess I'm getting more and more bullish as we talk about it. So I think Boston comes in and smash and grabs, and I plan to bet it as such. Does that mean it's a first quarter, first half, full game? I'll have to make that.
The thing is, if the first half loses and the full game cashes, I'm still splitting and down juice. So I figure, let's go first half because I feel better. I'm more confident with that.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get why you're only on the. I have no qualms with your action here.
Yep.
All right. Saturated says Mobley points and rebounds was about the easiest bet he's made all week. Okay, there you go. Celtics -4.5, and I'll be moving on them as well. How extreme is what I've got to figure out. So for Saturday action, Bobano on the Thunder +3.5 full game, and he's on the Celtics -4.5. I'm with both of these takes. I'm going to move on the Thunder. It will be more than just full game, and I'm going to be on the Celtics as well. Joe Yurkovich, and we popped it up here onto the chat, was talking about the Michael's tweet, and we had it up there, and it's an important one. But I've lost it now. If Jose can put it back up, I had it there. But basically saying that I don't want to quote it. I hate quoting tweets. But in this spot with the favorite, a big favorite being embarrassed at home and then traveling on the road, teams are winning by an average of 12 in this spot. But can you pull that tweet up? I know we had it up there. I don't know how I've lost it there. But those are our breakdowns here for NBA action on Saturday, May 11th. Go out there and get that cash. Bobano, thank you for rocking with us, my man. I love these Fridays. We have so much fun over the next 48 hours of playoff action tonight and tomorrow night. I can't wait. We capped all of it in NHL and NBA. Please support Bobano on his new X handle at Bobano Bets, and of course support the Ice Guys. Bobano is a big part of. Bobano, any last words for the Capper supporting the show?
Just have a great weekend. Can't wait. Lots of great sporting action, especially in the playoffs in the NHL and the NBA this weekend. So good luck to everyone in the chat. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button. Enjoy these Fridays as well with Jimmy the Bag here, Betting with the Bag, Pub Sports Radio. So hit that like button. Jimmy, good luck to you this weekend as well. Have a good one. We'll see you next week.
I love it. There he is, Bobano. And that tweet I got now is teams that lose as a -7 or more favorite, and are favored again by -2 or more, are 35-11 against the spread over the last 46 opportunities. There he is, Bobano in the house. All right, it's time to talk MLB. We got a lot of action here from cappers in the chat. I've copied and pasted it. We have a lot of work to do, and this has been a horrible week for me. Just a horrible week, and I want to bounce out of. Please welcome the star of MLB programming here on Pub Sports Radio, coming to us from San Antonio, Texas, home of the Southtown 101 and Pub Sports Radio. Please welcome Jose Bouquett to the show. Jose, how are you, my friend?
I'm all right. Looking to bounce back as well as always here. It seems like this week has been torturous for the both of us. It's been the first, kind of bad week for me this year, but I actually like a lot of spots here today, which is a little scary. I have 6 bets in and shot to razor. I did bet Martin's horse as well, obviously. So maybe some Marty magic can help me out here as well. But I have 6 bets in, and I've got 5 more that I've written down that I wanted to talk out before making or staying off. So it's going to be fun to talk about.
It will be. I have 3 bets myself in over 2 games, and I like my action, but I'm ready to attack here. Let's go over some of the best bets from the cappers in our chat. Viper MB on the Rangers -1 and the Phillies -1. Joey Marinaccio, the Dapper Capper, Diamondbacks first 5 is his best bet. Smooth balls play today. Ranger Suarez over 5.5 strikeouts, a +114. Rocco Rogers is also on Logan Webb over 18.5 outs, a +130. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play today is the Nasty Nats, Washington Nationals +182. Chosen One is on the Twins money line, and he's on the Phillies as well. TJ's gift, the must bet, is Kansas City, Los Angeles Angels over 8.5. He also took the first 5 over.
So shut out.
Jake Flanagan's on the Phillies team, total over. He's tying that with Canucks money line. Von Polo is on the Orioles money line. All right, let's get to work, my friend. We start at 6:40 p.m. Eastern. The Chicago Cubs 22-16, 9-10 on the road at the Pittsburgh Pirates 17-21, 8-10 at home. We're at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Let's start with the weather here in Pittsburgh, and I should also refresh it as it's been up for a long time. Let's refresh it, get the latest information here from the weather. 57 Fahrenheit, 9.4 miles per hour to right field, 9.4, and then dies down to 4.2. So it completely dies down while the game is on. Let's get into the line history here and the cash flow. From a line history standpoint, we have these Pirates with Jared Jones on the hill after that just spectacular performance last out, sitting at -127. Opened up at -135. We've had an 8-cent move towards Javier Assad and the Chicago Cubs. When we get to the total here in this one, we have a 7. It's a 7. This opened up at 7 and moved up to 7.5. Moved up to 7.5. So this didn't open up at Pinnacle till 7:59 this morning.
I think Mouth doing his version of Noli Knowles under right here.
More than that. And same with Johnny K. And Troy Torrance says Cubs money line. Says Cubs will make Jonesy work like he hasn't before.
I love Troy to death, but I do have my guards up every time he talks Cubs here because we all know where Troy's from.
Yeah, but Billy Friedrich and Troy nailed the Fetty start yesterday.
Yes.
With the White Sox. So
Yes, that was nice. Did you bet that under?
Yes, I did, but I still went 2-4 yesterday. This total opened up at 7 this morning at -107 and then got up to 7.5, and now it's back down to 7. Still, there's been 8 cents of movement to the over. And if you consider, an hour and 20 minutes ago, this had moved 13 cents to the over. So this is a big move to the over, despite it staying at the number. And we have a move to the Chicago Cubs. Let's pull up the cash flow then for this spot and see what we are dealing with. Game 1 of a 15-game MLB card here on Pop Sports Radio. Thank you for joining us. 31% of the tickets, 80% of the cash on the Chicago Cubs. On the total, we have 80% of tickets, 79% cash on the over. Javier Assad has been spectacular this year. His last few starts have been unbelievable. Last out, 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 4 Ks, 3 walks, and a 5-0 win at home over the Brewers. Assad, 1.66 ERA, 1.03 whip. Allowed 2 jacks this year in 38 innings. Gerald Jones has been absolutely spectacular. That last start was a thing of beauty. 10 strikeouts. Now, he was going up against the Rockies in that spot. Take it away for us here, Jose. Game 1 on the docket, Cubbies, Pirates.
Yeah, I'm a little pissed, actually, now. I looked over the numbers here again. I took the under in this game. And I was pretty annoyed because I see that Bet Online opened this at 7.5 minus 110, and then I saw sevens across the board. So I was like, "Oh, okay, it's interesting." So I immediately go and bet the under. But I see the 7.5 opened up at 250 yesterday, and then the sevens came up at 8 in the morning this morning. It feels like it really wasn't a 7.5. We just got a 7, and now we're getting juice going to the over here with a shitload of money on the over. I do like these big pitchers both individually. I think they're both good, but I am a little concerned. I did take the under. Obviously, it is scary that it's a 7, and it's plus money for me. I got plus 105, so that's okay. But like I said, under I'll take. It'll be a little disappointing, or I'm a little disappointed that I got by that 7.5, but it is what it is.
Huh. Interesting. It feels like the Cubs is the sharp side here.
I can't believe the Cubs aren't favored. I will admit that.
Well, after watching Jared Jones last start,
Jared Jones, young.
But he's 52 strikeouts and 5 walks. He's 0.78 WHIP.
Yeah, best pitcher on the Pirates. I've been on him a lot, but I still think the Cubs are just a better team. I think Assad has been one of the. I think I saw a stat that Assad in the last spanning from last year in the last 75 innings, he has a 2 ERA, just dominant. I was like, what the hell? This is weird. I like the under. I took the under 7 plus 105 for me. But I was surprised that the Cubs were dogs here.
And I mean, Cubs bullpen's not been very good this year, but it's not that we fear the Pirates bullpen. What is keeping is just Jared Jones is what's keeping you off of backing the Cubs? Consecutive home starts.
Yeah, I just haven't wanted to double up in games, and I say that now, and I might double up later. But yeah, I think it's the Jared Jones being very good, obviously, and that sharp money on the Cubs, and I have slight movement towards the Pirates still at minus 132. Open up at minus 170, minus 127. So it is Cubs or pass.
Yeah.
Pirates are the worst team in baseball against right-handed pitching, Troy Torrance says.
Yeah, they've been so bad. I mean, we've been going over those numbers throughout the season. They just have no power, no ability there. It's very ugly. I don't see how we don't move on the Cubs here. I mean, obviously, when you're using Bet Online for line history, it kind of tells you a different story than using Pinnacle, but it's fun and there's no right or wrong with that. But here, I just think that there's such an advantage with the Cubs bat. So if we say that the pitching is spectacular on either side, then the Cubbies versus righties. I mean, the Cubbies versus righties. I mean, we're talking 224, 674 OPS. I mean, we're not talking guys who are ripping it, but Pirates at 215, 603 OPS. I mean,
yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with everyone in the chat. Cubs are pass, but I'm on the under.
Nut Flush, Alan. Oh, Nut Flush. I sorry, I meant to tell you. You asked me the question earlier about a Michael Porter Jr. PRA, and I had it up for you, and I don't even know if I put it into the chat. It was let me just get back that because you asked that question here. The PRA is 24.5. In fact, though, you'll find this interesting. When you asked me the question about Michael Porter Jr.'s PRA, it was just minus 108 to the over. It was juiced to the under. It's minus 121 to the under. It's now had a 4-cent move to the over, 24.5 for MPJ. Yeah, I think the Cubs are the side here. And I don't want to have first 5 or full game, but I kind of lean towards the first 5. And then Mikey asking me what is the team total under for these Pittsburgh Pirates, and I will grab that for you right now, Mikey. The
2.5?
No, 3.5. 3.5 team total, minus 131 to the under. Oh, yeah. Sorry, that's the Cubbies. Sorry, God. Sorry, between Pirates under 3.5, minus 105 to the under.
Fair enough.
That's interesting. Yeah, same with Coin. It's got same numbers of online. Okay, I'm going to move on the Chicago Cubs here. The question is, I think I should move first 5. And as much as that may sound nuts, I think that Jared Jones to come back to earth is a real legitimate possibility.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it a lot this week. Sonny Gray got touched up. Logan Gilbert got touched up. We've seen it a couple of times this week, so it's definitely possible, and it's cost me. That's why I specifically remember these instances.
Okay, I've got to make a decision between first 5 and full game. I will not be doubling up. But I think, having Assad on the mound, expecting a regression from Jared Jones, and then my concern that the Pirates do have an advantage with the bullpen, even if it's Meek. Yeah,
Troy says
first 5. Okay, that's what it'll be. I'll take the Cubbies first 5. Lee Davis, 80% of the cash on the Cubs. Yeah, but just 30% of the tickets. So I don't. That doesn't concern me. And then my line has them moving towards them. So again, Pinnacle didn't come out till this morning. Okay, let's roll on. So Jose's on the under 7 at plus 105. I'll be on the Cubs first 5. Eric Jones says 12 and 5 straight up spot for Pittsburgh. Be careful. Yeah. I think the Jared Jones coming off the greatest start of his life is ripe for the bet against. Let's move on to our next spot on the board, and it is our first best bet from our special guest here on Fridays in MLB, coming to us from Dallas, Texas, star of Medicaid Mondays. Please welcome our friend and yours, our guy, Mr. Daby Cab, to the telecast. Daby, how are you?
Jimmy, good, man. Chat, it's Friday, ready to make some money. I got to give a shout out to my boys who are in the chat right now. Shout out Pimo, Fluff, Dick, couple guys from the baseball team that decided to show up today.
Who?
Nice.
Pimo, Fluff, and Dick. It's 3 people.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
How did Fluff get his name? Is he fat?
His hair is fat. He has very fluffy hair. That's how.
That's a name for fat people. I was just wondering.
That's where Cab came from. For anybody who's wondering, it was Pimo, Fluff, Dick, and Cab. We were the boys.
Respect, man. Nice to have the squad rolling with us. Joe Yurkovich talking about Steel versus Skeens tomorrow. We're all excited about that. All right, let's roll here. Daby Cab. We have the Astros at the Detroit Tigers at Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. Framber Valdez, 3.97 ERA and 22 2/3 over 4 starts. All 4 starts coming at home. Finally going to see Framber on the road. Not that should intimidate the big man.
One was in Mexico City.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. Thank you. Yeah, no, it was a.
So I don't know if that counts, but whatever.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You're right. He has traveled. You're right. Because that was a pseudo home game for the Astros, but you're right. That's important. Thank you for that. So the last start, 5 1/3, 9 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 homers, 3 Ks, 1 walk, and a 5-0 loss at home versus Seattle. So let's pull up the situation here and then hand it over to Daby Cab for his first best bet of the day. 65 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 6.6 miles per hour out to left center, dies down to 4.5 miles per hour during the game. We have Casey Mize on the hill coming off a tough start for him at Yankee Stadium. This total opened up at 8. It's now 2 cents towards the under. Very little movement on the total. We get to the money line in this one. God, sorry, I'll have this set up better in a second. We get to the money line. We have the Houston Astros sitting at minus 142. They cashed for me yesterday, opening up at minus 130. We had a 12-cent move towards them. We did have a monster move towards them. And the interesting part of this monster move is when this line opened up at 5:41 p.m., for the first 16 hours, there'd only been a move to the Tigers. Something happened here at 9:27 a.m. At that point, there'd been a 7-cent move to the Tigers. Then there was within 2 hours, not even 2 hours, there was a 33-cent move. Excuse me, 33-cent move towards the Houston Astros. Now it's come back 14 cents, but still we've had 12 cents of movement towards these Astros. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this spot from a cash flow perspective. 72% of tickets, 71% cash on the over. This line's not moving. And on the money line, you have 71% of tickets on the Astros, but just 29% of the cash. Interesting that the market's moving so quickly towards them. Casey Mize coming off that rough start at Yankee Stadium, a 5 1/3, 5 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 1 walk, but he's been excellent at home. this year. Let's hear what Daby Cab's plan is. Truth Tellers on the over 8. Fernando Mendoza is on the over 8. Take it away, Daby Cab, Astros Tigers.
Yeah, first thing I want to touch on with Framer Valdez. I think Jose said it too. His numbers are a little inflated. Like you look at his 7 walks, only 19 strikeouts to 7 walks. Not what you want to see. But he had 6 of them in one game. He's had 1 walk. Let me pull this up really quick. Yeah, he had 6 walks against the Yankees in his first start. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So since then, he's gone, 18 innings with only 1 walk. So I really think his numbers are going to come back around. I know Seattle got to him last game, but we've seen a lot of that. Sometimes pitchers get hit. It's just what happens. And the Astros have been a shit baseball, this team this year. I get it. But when I look at this game, I see a better offense in the Astros, regardless of how bad they've been this year. They're better in every single offensive category. I see a better starting pitcher for the Astros too, right? So I simplified this. I took the Astros in the first 5. I got minus 129. That shit's ran 11 cents since then, even more at some places. But I did tweet it out, and I did tag you in it early this morning, Jimmy.
You got it. A nice move in your favor. Astros first 5 for Daby Cab at minus 129. Jose Bouquett, Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. Your plan?
No action here. I think the Astros are throwing Valdez, Javier, and someone else good. I don't want to say it was Verlander because it feels like it's too soon, but it might have been Verlander. So those guys are going today, and I will say today is the day that our friend Earl Sports Bets mentioned that if we're going to bet the Astros futures, it would be today. I don't know. I kind of go back and forth with this Astros team a lot. I really don't trust them still, truthfully. I'd rather be on the Astros, I guess, in this scenario, but no action for me here. I think Detroit is live.
Perky says Mize gets torn apart tonight, but Rick J really liking that first 5 spot. Robert Franklin on Detroit money line.
It's hard to trust a Detroit offense that can't come through for you most times. It's very hard, very hard. And by the way, shout out to Fluff, who the chat already called me out. I didn't learn from my Korean experience about body shaming, so shout out to the chat.
Yeah,
I laughed at that. I saw that, man. The chat was on one. Freaking.
You know what? When you're right, you're right, guys. When you're right, you're right.
The Tigers just can't be trusted offensively. But I think Casey Mize bounces back here, and we've just seen this Houston Astros offense underachieve over and over and over again. I was lucky to get 4 runs yesterday in the Astros bet. They're difficult to trust, and
they scored like 3 runs in 1 inning, the first inning, I believe,
and then I did not feel good the whole time. Detroit though hits lefties better than righties. So the one thing you have for Detroit, 250, very low power, just a 694 OPS. I mean, it's just they've hit 9 home runs against left-handed pitching this year. There's very little power against lefties, but I'm going to stay off of this spot. But Perky liking it, Sancho liking it, Rick J liking it, and Daby Cab on it. Astros first 5 at minus 129 for Dabra Cadabra, the Magic Man, who will be hitting us with best bets, and they go back to back here shortly. So, Dabby, we will see you very soon, my man, for more action from Daby Cab. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 6:50 p.m. Eastern with the New York Yankees, 25-14, 12-8 on the road at Tampa Bay Rays, 19-19, 13-10 at home. We're at the Trop in St. Petersburg, Florida. Clark Schmidt going up against Taj Bradley. We've not seen Taj in a while with the pectoral injury.
I think this is something up your alley here, Jim. I'm gonna call it now. There will be bets in this game from both of us. I have not moved on this game yet, I think.
Well, so Taj got hurt in spring training. He's come back with 2 rehab starts at AAA Durham, and he looked very good. Allowed 1 earned run on 2 hits across 11 innings. Struck out 15, 94 pitches in the second start. So shouldn't be any workload issues. Taj should just be ready to fire. You guys know I like Clark Schmidt. I like him. I think he's, I bet him a lot last year when his numbers were inflated from a tough start. This year, his numbers are pretty good. 3-1, 3.50 ERA, 1.31 WHIP, 41 strikeouts in 36 innings, 13 walks, and 5 homers. Brent Cook leaning towards the Rays. Coin says Tampa Bay money line is appealing. Brahma B on the Yankees run line. Make America great again on the Rays. Troy Torrance on the Yankees money line.
I think the play I struggle the most with is that fucking sharp trap with Troy that Troy puts out here. It is the single play that I go heads up with against Troy the most. And I don't feel like I have a winning ROI against it, but I always want to bet the other side of it, Troy.
Let's take a look at the line history here for this spot. We have the Rays right now at plus 107. They opened up at plus 120. Oh, it's gone up to plus 112 now. So there's been in the last it was a minute ago, the last move towards the Yankees. But the Yankees opened up at minus 135. At 12:20, they were minus 116. But now it's sitting at minus 121. So interesting there. A big move towards Taj Bradley to come back and have a really nice start. Trusting pitchers off of IL has hurt and helped at times. 81% of tickets, 90% of the cash on the New York Yankees, 81 and 90. On the total, we have 84% of tickets and 87% cash on the over. Take it away for us here, Jose. Lamont Williams gave us his max bet, and it was Yankees run line. What's your plan?
Yeah, so I did the thing today, Jimmy, is where I bet most all the totals I liked before the show, and then saved all the money lines for the show. And the Rays obviously is one of the run lines or the money lines I like here. I'm not going to bet the Rays now because thankfully I've seen the chat say sharp trap, blah, blah, blah. Nutflush Allen is saying everyone will auto bet the Yankees here, and they have, and the line's moving towards the Rays. It's very conflicting for me. But with that being said, this does make my life easier because I like 2 bets in this game, and I've been trying to try not to double up as much. So I'll just take the under here. Jimmy, you mentioned the splits, 84% of the bets, 87% of the money on the over. I had this line opening up at an 8. It's again juiced to the under, minus 125. But I dropped down to 8.5, to 8. So I like that, Jimmy. Now, again, I'd like to talk this out with you, obviously, because sometimes, just like that first game, Bet Online will open it up at a different number here. So I wanted to ask you about this game and this total and what you see here again. So I know you just mentioned it, but could you go over it again, please?
Absolutely. The Rays bullpen still concerns me. I think this perceived sharp action on the Rays is predicated on Taj Bradley rocking immediately. And I don't think that is too much of a surprise. We all were sort of under the assumption if Taj Bradley stays healthy, he's just going to get better year after year for the time being.
And you can say that, Jimmy, you love a spot where he gets called down. He got sent down at points last year. Is that for workload? Whatever. But he didn't pitch all the whole year last year with the Rays, and at the end of the year, his last 2 appearances were out of a relief role. So my thought was, here's all the momentum or all the motivation in the world to come back and pitch in a Rays rotation that is decimated with injuries. He pitches really well in both of his rehab starts in their minor leagues, including 5 innings, no hit ball, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk in his very first appearance. I like Taj Bradley, and I think he could be a bet on pitcher this year based on all these things. That being said, I can't bet him. I'm not going to go against the sharp trap. And I don't know if I'm going to move on this under because, again, other places open this up at 8. And our friends at Bet Online had this opening up at 8.5 already. So it's kind of confusing for me here. Like I said, at Bet Online opening up at 8.5 minus 125. Bovada opened this up at 8 minus 115 to the over, and it's there now, hasn't really moved. Bookmaker actually still has this as an 8.5 minus 120. And then all the other places like Heritage are showing 8s here as well. Heritage did open this up at an 8 minus 118 to the under. Sorry, 8.5. So I like the under, but I don't know if I can get there. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Oh, the Rays bats are meek And I think that Clark Schmidt should not have a lot of trouble here. But even at home against the Tigers, he allowed 3 earned runs in 5 innings. I imagine that if Clark Schmidt allows 3 home runs in 5 innings, or sorry, 3 runs in 5 innings in this one, that there's at least 5 runs scored in the first 5. I still like the first 5 under at 4.5, juice to the under. I still find that the most appealing spot here. Wine time, New York, Tampa Bay under 8. I still, as soon as I said I believe that the Rays bullpen was going to start bouncing back, or as soon as the numbers showed that they were bouncing back, I was like, okay, finally, we're going to, and then they've fallen off again.
I think I'm going to stay off. Like Brent Cook, there's way better spots on the board. I have a lot of question mark bets, and I can't make all of them, so I'll just stay off this game. But I like I said, I do like the Rays, and I do like the under. If you want to classify this as a waffle, go ahead.
First 5 under for me is what I plan on doing. At wine time on the full game under. And, the sharp trap, something that Troy's tracking, which is going to be very important. But I think if we're going to let the market indicate something, maybe the Yankees win this game, but the market expects Taj Bradley to pitch well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he's going to be a bet on pitcher this year.
Okay. First 5 under for me. Lamont Williams on the Yankees run line. That's his max bet, and Jose staying off. We move on. Next up for a 7:05 p.m. Eastern with the Arizona Diamondbacks 18-29-10 on the road. The Baltimore Orioles 24-12, 12-7 at home at Camden Yards, Baltimore, Maryland. We already heard from Von Polo living in Charm City. He's backing his Orioles. Fought versus Cole Irvin in this one. Let's roll into the line history here. Also, Yankees traveling down to Tampa, after that big game against Houston. I mean, are they going to be ready to go? And I guess, they do bring an extra 10 or 15,000 fans at least. But let's take a look at the line history here with Irvin versus Fought. Irvin and the Orioles sitting at -122. They opened up -143. Just a huge, huge move towards Fought and the Diamondbacks from +132 to +113. That is a big move towards Brandon Fought, who I expect to pitch well. I loved him last year, even though he cost me a lot of money until the playoffs when he started getting me cashed. This total is now at 7.5 at Pinnacle. Opened up at 8.5, so now we're down a full run. It is juiced to the over. You can still get 8s, but that's a big, big move towards the under. So we have a huge move on both side and total. Cash flow wise here, you have 83% of tickets and 72% of the cash on the Baltimore Orioles, and the line's just moving so drastically away from them. On the total side of things, you have 89% of tickets and 86% cash on the over. I mean, this is tricky. Cole Irvin coming off another great start, 2.86 ERA, 1.07 whip. Go 6 1/3 scoreless, 4 strikeouts, no walks, 3-0 win at the Reds. Great American Ballpark. That's not an easy place to pitch, and he was excellent. And Brandon Fought coming off getting lit up and smoked in a 13-1 loss at home versus the Padres, 4.61 ERA. Look, he got lit up and smoked last start. This is probably not your favorite bounce back spot, but he's more than capable of delivering. 42 strikeouts and 6 walks. I mean, that's the K to walk ratio of your wildest dreams. In Baltimore, there's drizzle in the middle of this baseball game, which could cause some problems. It's cold. 52 Fahrenheit, 10.4 miles per hour in. Take it away for us here, Jose. Diamondbacks, Orioles at Camden.
Yeah, I'll take the under. I took the under. I got 8 -120. Hope it does move to 7.5. All that money on the over. I like Brandon Fought, just like you, obviously. The real, I guess, thing that's going to scare me here for the under is that the Arizona Diamondbacks destroy lefties, and they haven't hit shit this year, but they can hit lefties pretty well. Last few weeks since the 21st to today, first 180 weighted runs created plus in 100 plate appearances. Full season, they're first as well. Let me update this real quick. Their first 145 weighted runs created plus in 444 plate appearances. The thing I wanted to move on the Diamondbacks here as well, and I haven't yet. And I think it's mainly because of this bias that I have in my head because I don't know, the market just never seems to get the Orioles right. I feel like I've bet against the Orioles in spots similar to this, like the Red series the other day, where I took the Reds twice when the market was going against them, and the Orioles just slapped them in the face. But I do like the Diamondbacks here. I have bet the under here, though.
Let's talk about Cole Irvin here. Last start, he's not allowed to run in 3 straight starts. So the Reds, he faced Reds. They're 26th against lefties, 217, 642 OPS. The start before that was against Oakland. The Oakland Athletics are 13th against lefties, 226, 696 OPS. They're not, 13th, but they're not hitting him. Then he faced at Kansas City. They're hitting 242, 683 OPS against them. Against Minnesota was on April 15th. Remember, Minnesota wasn't hitting at all. Now Minnesota's raking, but they couldn't hit at all. So, they weren't hitting it. His first start was at Boston. You talked about fading him against lefties. And now he faces the Diamondbacks, who are hitting 313, 866 OPS versus lefties. I think the situation is pretty clear, and I think it's Diamondbacks first 5. Now, if Cole Irvin can keep the Diamondbacks at bay, then that under's live. But 3 straight spectacular starts, he probably has another good one. I'm with Robert Franklin on that first 5 money line. So yeah, I'm just going to be on Diamondbacks. I think that's the edge for me. Diamondbacks first 5. I can understand this under, completely understand this under, but it's going to be full of vig. Jake Burns saying I'm still having nightmares for what those bullpen did to us. It was all of it. We were that one.
Yeah,
that was just,
I've lost 3 bets because of Craig Kimbrell this year already.
Oh God! And how many have we lost over the last 5 years? He's just as soon as Kimbrell comes in, you got to hedge out. You got to bet live.
Yeah, as a former Red Sox fan, I know all about the anxiety he gives people. It's ridiculous. There's a reason why Chris Sale closed out the World Series and not Craig Kimbrell. But Jimmy, I actually just texted my fucking local and told him to cancel my under, and I'll just join you. I'm on Diamondbacks first 5 full game. I just think that they're too good against lefties. Cole, you're right about 3 straight really good starts from Cole Irvin. Do I really expect a 4th? So I think that and again, the Diamondbacks don't hit anyone, but they hit lefties so fucking well. So I will take first 5 full game. And if they do bring in the said bullpen, I'm not worried about the bullpen because Jimmy, this Orioles bullpen is what's going to cost them in the postseason. That is on God. They need the only player that they could acquire to make me feel good about their bullpen is Devin Williams, who is hurt, and I don't know if he comes back this year. So I don't remember what his injury was, but he's obviously hurt now, and he's a free agent next year. But I just can't see it, and I'm on the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I'm just going to be first 5. It's not a double up spot for me, but I get it. Okay, we're going to roll on. Kuji Cam says, so first 5 under is Jose's waffle play of the day.
Full game under. I have a couple of them, Kuji.
But we only care about...
we only care about 1 waffle.
And do we have the updated record for him?
Of course.
17-2 is the updated waffle. The waffle play of the day took a strange L a couple days ago.
It's funny. It wasn't like it was an L that like completely lost outright. I believe it was just a tied first 5.
You're right. And he told us he would take the -0.5.
So let's be honest. Yeah. It's not like he got blown out still.
It's the best bet in sports gambling.
It's incredible.
Let's roll on. Next up for us, 7:07 p.m. Eastern. With the Minnesota Twins, 22-15, 11-7 on the road, playing very good baseball. Toronto Blue Jays, 17-28 and 7 at home. Pack of ass clowns. I should have called in and got, because I can only bet 500 unless I call in. I have 500 on the season win total under, but that should have been a $5,000 bet. I don't know if he would let me throw 5K at it, but I'm sure he would have actually. He's not concerned, you know. But Joe Ryan going up against Yusei Kikuchi.
The market in this game for the total will shock you.
Kikuchi coming off a great start. Now the bullpen was terrible. It was a perfect combination for the under. He goes 6 innings, allows 1 run, 7 Ks, 1 walk, but they lose 9-3. Kikuchi 2.72 ERA, 1.16 WHIP. You know, he's just being so good. I mean, last year we came in saying if he had a 4.5 ERA, we'd think that was a huge, like an excellent year for him. And he's been just a very strong pitcher for the Jays. Going up against Joe Ryan, coming off a 9-2 loss at home versus the Red Sox, 6 innings for it, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 1 walk. You know, he's a consistent pitcher who you'd probably rather have at home than on the road. 3.54 ERA, 1.01 WHIP on the year. And let's get into the line history here for this one. Also, of course, we're talking about lefties. We talked about Cole Irvin, who faced the Twins and handled them early in the year. Now they're raking lefties, 287, 794 OPS. But if you look at the starts that Kikuchi has had, he can go up against the top left-handed teams in the league and shut them down. And now Cole Irvin's done the same, but Kikuchi at home, should just be trusted. He faced the Dodgers at home and did allow 4 earned runs over 6 innings. That was his worst start of the year. I mean, he's allowed 5 earned runs in 4 starts. Every single start Kikuchi's had this year, he's gone 6 innings. I mean, he's just as consistent as can be. Faced the Yankees at home, shut them down. I just think that he's a bet-on pitcher. The problem is he doesn't play for a bet-on baseball team. Let's take a look at the line history here in the cash flow. What a joke. Can we just fire everybody? We were such a good baseball team 2 years ago. I mean, we were perfectly set up. And now we're just trash. This total opened up at 7.5. There's been 14 cents of movement to the under. I can understand why people want unders in Blue Jays games. And I know that people have lost them when the bullpen comes out, which I still believe is better than their numbers indicate, which we will find out. This first 5 is at 4. There's been 9 cents of movement to the first 5 under. On the money line here, we have these Jays sitting at minus 109. They opened up at minus 114, so we've had a very slight move towards the Twins. So move to the under, move towards the Twinkies. When we take a look at the cash flow, 97% of tickets and 97% of cash on the over. Wow. On the money line, we have 68% of tickets, 78% cash on the Minnesota. 68% of tickets and 78% cash on the Toronto Blue Jays. So this is appealing, man. This is appealing. Saturated says, when do they break up the Jays? It's all about Vladdy. It seems like we don't want to sign him to the giant extension. He's not willing to take a cheaper contract like Julio Rodriguez because Vladdy's not trying to feed his family. His family are the richest family in the Dominican Republic. Take it away, Jose. Twins, Blue Jays.
Yeah, under. I mean, this game screamed under to me with the pitchers. I like both of them. You've mentioned many a times the Blue Jays' ineptitudes. I believe in Kikuchi. Sure, the Minnesota Twins being the second best team against lefties in the last 2 weeks, 4th full season, worries me. But I'll trust Ella's intuition and her scouting eyes. Under for me. I got 7.5 minus 115.
Yeah. I guess people are just saying this is far too low for a Minnesota Twins game. And it's far too low for the Blue Jays bullpen. What's keeping you off the Twins?
I just like Kikuchi. I think he pitches well. And Joe Ryan has been not great this year. Like when he first came up, I was saying like he could be the second coming of Zach Greinke. He looks like him. He's kind of a weirdo. But his starts this year, he's not had one shutout start this year. And he's basically given up 3 earned runs or 3 runs in one way or another in every start this year. 6 innings, 3 runs, 6 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, 3 runs, 5 1/3, 4 runs, 3 earned. It's been like that basically the whole year. His best start of the year was his first start, and since then it's just been 3 earned runs basically the whole time.
Yeah, but now he gets to go up against the Blue Jays offense. I mean, it's just
It
such a
is.
weak
It is
offense.
weird to me that they just can't hit anymore. Like Justin Turner's so good, and he just keeps going to teams that are like just having shit years. I hope they trade him somewhere.
I think the Twins and the under is the play. The question is, though, should we just stick to the first 5 with this Jays bullpen that now is a 5.23 ERA, 1.41 whip? They have nice pieces. They're completely fresh. They got to be trusted here. The Twins bullpen was what was keeping them together throughout their flaws, but the Twins bullpen's not looked as good lately. 3.51. No, but you know what? Toronto Blue Jays are the tonic. The Twins and the under for me. Kelly McKinnon also with us on the Twins. All right. Rocco Ryder says Ryan has always been slightly above average for me. Wow. Says you get value fading him. Not that I want to do it here though. I'm higher on Joe Ryan. I've always been. It's with Jose, but okay, I'll join you. Twins and the under as well. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 7:10 p.m. Eastern with the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets, which means we welcome back our guy, Daby Cab, to the telecast. Daby Cab, welcome back, my friend. We're in Citi Field in Queens, New York. Charlie Morton against Jose Quintana. Quintana coming off getting lit up and smoked at the Rays. 2 2/3, 10 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 Ks, 1 walk. He did not look good. And now he faces the Atlanta Braves, who've not been hitting like we remember. Charlie Morton 2-0, 3.50 ERA, 1.14 whip. I mean, this guy just keeps doing it. It's pretty impressive, even with the long tooth, that he can still deliver and not get hurt. This guy's, eating up innings year after year after year. 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 2 walks, and a 4-3 extra inning loss at the Dodgers. That was a tough one for us. That last start. So let's talk about line history and set this all up. Let's talk about the weather at Citi Field in New York. We have light rain throughout the beginning of this baseball game. It's expected it's going to be pushed a little bit. 49 Fahrenheit at first pitch, and then it stops raining. 9 miles per hour in, dies down to 7 miles per hour. So the possibility of them sitting there for at least an hour and a half before getting in is there. It is a legitimate. Take a look at the line history here then for this one. From the money line standpoint, we have these New York Mets at plus 128 over at Pinnacle. They open up at plus 134. So 6 cents of movement towards them. When you get to the total here for this one, we are dealing with an 8. This opened up at 8. It dipped down to 7.5. It lasted at 7.5. So it moved at 9:07 a.m. And then at 10:09 a.m. it came back to 8. Overall, though, we've had no movement. So circle just. Then we have cash flow for this one. Cash flow wise, we have 83% of the tickets and 94% of the cash on the Atlanta Braves. When the market tells me to back Quintana, I've been very successful with it. 99% of the tickets, 99% of the cash on the over. Wow. This is absolutely wild. Take it away for us, Daby Cab. Best bet time, Braves Mets.
I don't like hearing that about the market, but I tell you what, this could be one of those games that I see goes under, even though the Braves put up 6 or 7 runs. I know they've been struggling a bit, especially against the Dodgers, right? What they put up, let me pull this up, like 1, 2, and 3 runs against them. Yeah, 3, 2, and 1. Same thing, but backwards, whatever. They didn't score against the Dodgers. Last couple games against the Red Sox, they put up a little bit, 4 and 5 runs here. Obviously, when I see a total like this, Jimmy, it's not hard to predict where my head's at, right? It was at 7.5 when I grabbed the Braves team total over 4. I got their team total over 4, and that's something I've told you this year. I'm going to bet anytime I get a 4.5 or a 4 at a good number, I'm going to bet it. I had to bet minus 132 for the over 4. Look, Quintana, I know he's coming off a bad start, and that's a place where we like to get behind pitchers because we think, oh, they're going to, fix some mechanics or right the course here. He also might just suck again. I mean, he's not somebody that I trust personally. And if you look at the Braves, they're very comfortable in the Mets Stadium. Last year they averaged 7.06 runs in the Mets Stadium, or against the Mets, excuse me. They actually averaged 8 runs in their stadium. Let me see this here on the numbers. They've won 5 of 7 games. 5 of their last 7 games played there against the Mets. They took 3 of 4 in New York during their last series this year in August. It's just not somewhere where I'd want to be with the Mets here. Atlanta's hitting 280 against the Mets. Against the Mets on the road in their last 7 games also. There's just a lot of numbers here that I love Atlanta. Team total over 4, absolutely, I'm a bet it. Let the rain come, let the pitcher sit on the sidelines for an hour, all the better.
Yeah, I get that. It's interesting, batter versus pitcher against Quintana. I mean, Acuna, he shuts down. Olsen, he shuts down. Austin Riley shuts down. And then there's Albies hitting 538 with a 1.725 OPS. 2 jacks, and Duvall, 2 jacks, 1.625 OPS.
What's Ozuna's numbers against him?
Ozuna rakes. He's hitting 458 with a 1.186 OPS. Those are the 3 guys that rake. Interesting. And then against Morton, a ton of history. I mean, both these guys, but Morton has more history, against this lineup. I mean, you got Lindor with 44 at bats, hitting 136. Oh, well, Lindor, who cares? Marte hitting 208. Let's hear what Jose has to say. But what did you get the Braves team total over 4 at?
Minus 132. So I paid for it.
Minus 132. Let's hear what Jose has to say about this spot. Braves, Mets, Citi Field, and Queens. Take it away.
Yeah, it's a tough game. I think I'm going to stay off sidewise. I definitely look at the under, though. I mean, we've said this kind of the whole year, Jimmy. Those spots have been appealing, and there's been a lot of these 99% spots. Now, again, Jimmy, sorry for making you repeat the totals thing every time we do this, but I've got this total. Where the fuck is it? There we are. I've got this total opening up at 8.5. You're moving down to the 8. And then this is, again, bet online. I have other books as well, but can you at least let me know if this opened up at 8.5 for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Perky. Appreciate that. That's probably the nicest thing anyone in the chat has said about me in a long time. So I appreciate that. I'm going to screenshot this actually, Perky, and save this for later when I'm feeling down.
This opened up at 5:29 p.m. yesterday at Pinnacle at 8 pick'em.
Sorry, say that again.
Opened up at 5:29 p.m. yesterday at a pick'em at 8. Minus 106 each way.
Yeah, okay. I'll stay off. Like I said, I like the under in this game, but I can't bet every game, I guess. So I'm off. I like the under.
I like the under, and I'm going to bet it. But you have to go full game. These bullpens are rolling right now. So full game is important. And then, we have this rainy, cold weather blowing in. I'm in. Jay Peasy says, don't back Morton at Dodger Stadium versus Quintana with Albies, Ozuna, Harris, and Duvall all smashing him. Don't be afraid.
At Dodger Stadium, huh?
Interesting. Yeah, it's been a house of horrors for him. Not whores, but horror.
Not like a brothel?
No, not like a brothel. Let me just. Okay, so let me just take a look at. I'm gonna leave it alone, the money line. But the money line here, this move to the Mets is saying that Quintana's going to pitch well here. But I know why anybody would disregard that. 25 strikeouts, 16 walks. I mean, I don't know how anyone would have the balls just based on all the money on the over and all the money on the Braves to take both the Mets and the under. I think you have to pick which one you want.
This would be one of those spots that I would have let the market kept me off and would have probably been a waffle that would have cashed, but I'm not going to do that anymore. Fuck that. I'm taking this bet.
I'll just let you guys know his last 3 starts against the Braves this year: 5 1/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, 4 Ks, 2 walks, 16-4 wins. So he's probably low stress there. Last year he lost 0-7, but 5 1/3, 9 hits, 5 earned runs, and then before that in a doubleheader, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, 3 walks. There, lost 6-0.
And JP's using that second account. His first account is not blocked. We don't know what's going on. I've gone back there and there's nothing I can do because it's not blocked. Which is the same thing that we had with Mikey M. We can't unblock. So we're going to give JPZ the wrench, but you can't we can't unblock him because he's not blocked. So we don't know what the hell's going on here. I see the list of everybody who's blocked, and it's a pretty hefty list. One of which JP's not on. Look, JPZ is the first voice you hear on all of our shows. We love him so much. He's such a huge part of what we do here. So, yeah, he's not blocked. So I can't say it. I'm not going to just keep repeating it over and over and over again. Okay. And we love him. He's such a huge part of the group. I get it, Perky. So we'll give him the wrench because the same thing happened with Mikey Money when no one could figure out why Mikey. The same thing happened with my friend Rico in Houston. And Rico got so pissed off that he was just like, I'm done with you guys. And I was like, well, Rico, I can't give Rico the wrench. Nobody knows who he is. It's easier to give Peasy. It's even easier to give Peasy a wrench because we all know who he is. But and I was like, look, I was telling Rico, I was like, you're not blocked, you're not here. But he's like, but you can't read it. And then he was like, forget about you. And I was like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm 44. I'm not looking for friendship. Okay. So I'm going to be moving on the under 8 here. Perky says, so when Nate blocks people and someone unblocks them, it takes over a week for them to contribute in the chat. No, Perky, yeah, I mean, I there's nothing I can do here. All I can say is that we love PZ. I don't know if anyone's more beloved in our whole community than JPZ. Okay, let's move on. Next up for us, Cabby Best Bet Game 3, 7:10 p.m. Eastern with the Philadelphia Phillies 26-12, 11-5 on the road at Miami Marlins, 10-29, 5-15 at home. We're at Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. We have Ranger Suarez going up against Trevor Rogers, 2 lefties on the bump. Suarez 6-0, 1.72 ERA, 0.72 WHIP. We already heard for best bet action from Jay Smooth balls play today is Ranger Suarez over 5.5 strikeouts at plus 114. Look, Suarez has been spectacular. There's no way around it. He's been very good. Coming off yet another quality start in his last one. It wasn't as dominant. 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 6 Ks, 1 walk. He's been very, very good. Trevor Rogers has not, coming off getting lit up and smoked at Oakland Coliseum, 2 1/3, 8 earned runs, 2 homers, 1 K, 3 walks. He's got a 1.72 WHIP. He's been terrible. We know what the Phillies do to lefties. It's, dangerous. Now, it's not as nasty this year, 270, 753 OPS, just behind the Braves. And then we know what the Marlins do. And it usually takes place under a bridge. So let's get into the line history here with this one. From a line history standpoint, we'll start with the total. This total is sitting at 7.5. Opened up at 7.5 at 5:32 p.m. at Pinnacle. Since then, there's still been 5 cents of movement towards the under. And when we get to the money line, we have the Marlins at plus 164. They opened up at plus 156. So the Phillies have gone from minus 170 to minus 180, 10 cents of movement towards them. And then when we take a look at the cash flow for this one, we have 98% of the tickets and 99% of the cash on the over. Good God. I just have to back Trevor Rogers here because the whole world's on the over is not appealing, and I don't know if I can get there. 87% of the tickets and 96% of the cash on the Phillies. It has moved 10 cents. Is that enough? Is that enough for anybody? I don't know here. Joe Yurkovich said respected capper on the Phillies minus 1.5. Take it away for us, Daby Cab. Best bet number 3 for you, Phillies Marlins.
One thing with the team totals, it's interesting. The 99% of the cash, because here I am, on a team total over again. I am fading Rogers with the Phillies here. But, games can end 5-2 or 5-1 or 6-1, and the game can still go under, right? It happens all the time. Look at the Braves last game. They beat the Red Sox 5-0. They cashed their team total over, but there was only 5 runs in the whole game, so there wasn't a lot of run production. I think the Phillies score here. I think 4.5 for the Phillies against Rogers is a ridiculous number. You said it. They're hitting 270 against lefties. This number should be 5 or 5.5 personally. And I'm betting it almost based on the fact that I think the team total should be higher. I got 4.5 at minus 105. Rogers with the 28 strikeouts, not bad, but 15 walks, 1.72 whip. That is too many base runners for this Phillies team that's hitting and playing baseball as well as they are right now. I just see runs coming from the Phillies early. I see them coming often here. I don't hate the Phillies as a side, but I think the team total is just, it simplifies it for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So Troy asked me why team total with Ranger on the mound. Look, it's hard sometimes to decide whether I'm not going to be on a side or a team total, but the reason I'm usually on team totals, it's about variables. Okay, so you got to understand, as a baseball player, I look at baseball as the most, like, this sport has so many variables and so many different things that can change the outcome. You talked about the other day, Jimmy, and I won't even bring that up, but we've seen games that go into the last inning and nobody's scored, but then all of a sudden a team that's down 3-1 ties it and it's 3-3, and then it goes into extras and we're looking at an 8-5 ball game in the blink of an eye. There's so many variables in baseball that when I attack a team total, I'm looking at one thing. I need this lineup to fucking hit the baseball, and that's it.
Yeah, I get that. An interesting thing about Trevor Rogers is being so horrific is that he has really good numbers against these guys. Harper, only Sosa has a jack against him. So, we're talking like the only real history he has is against Bohm, Harper, and Real Muto. 45 at bats combined, no jacks, 5 ribbies. Harper hitting 200 with a 635 OPS. Real Muto 133 with 435 OPS. Bohm 200 with a 545 OPS. So the only guys that hit him are Sosa and Castellanos, and I don't think you need to fear that much. This is a fascinating spot. Jose, do you have the balls to bet the under here? Because I do.
Yeah, I already took it.
You took it full game?
Yeah, minus 115. Yeah, I'm on it. I think this line is a trap, I will admit. It being as low as it is, money line wise, I thought that the this line would be like minus 250, 275, like really high, and it being minus 200 scared me a little bit. So I'm definitely on the under. I am wary on the Phillies because I'm sure the Phillies will be the most popular side today. The Marlins cannot hit lefties; they're horrific. Rangers very, very good. So I agree. I mean, everything screams Phillies, but I'll just take the under and hope the Phillies win 5-0.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, it's a funny total here because the bullpens I don't want anything to do with. Marlins ranked 26th, 4.74 ERA, 1.42 whip, points hitting 256 against them, converted 5 of 13 save opportunities. The Phillies ranked 21st, 4.61 ERA, 1.41 whip, points hitting 260 against them. I think that the problem with me saying right off the hop, like JW saying Miami bullpen, that's the problem with me saying, oh, the first 500 makes way more sense is because if the Phillies get out to that 5-0 lead, this game becomes sleepy. Nobody cares. Let's just finish the game and get back to the hotel rooms. That's the concern.
Yeah, and I considered backing my Marlins here, but I did not. I did, but no, thank you.
I mean, Suarez might be the best pitcher in baseball right now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Zach Wheeler's on his staff, stealing all of his Cy Young shine.
I mean,
I also won't think about the injury he had last spring training that kept him out of the World Baseball Classic, and he could have been a bullpen arm for Venezuela. So I won't think about that either.
Troy Torrance says he has almost 2,000 games in his database. There's only 24 road favorites at minus 200 or more.
What? That's crazy. Really?
That's wild. Yeah.
I'd expect it to be a lot more.
So
wow.
All right. Favorites, is that what he's telling us? That's what that sounds like.
No, there's just only been 24 row favorites above minus 200.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You get good odds on the road for the favorite. Better odds.
No, he's saying that
no one gets minus 250 on the road.
I get it. I understand.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna move on the first 5 under 4 in this one. I'm gonna move on the first 5 under 4. In this case, I'm going to trust Trevor Rogers' numbers against these Phillies and a bounce back situation rather than either of these bullpens, which could easily blow up in my face if it's 5-0 like Daby set up. So we will see. So Daby Cab, best bet, Phillies team total over 4.5. He's got the Braves team total over 4, and he got his best bet started here with the Astros first 5 for Daby Cab, who's on a nice run here, sitting very close to the black on the show after his spectacular work in college basketball this year. Daby Cab, thank you for rocking with us. You can catch Daby Cab here Wednesday through Friday on Bending with the Bag. Also, of course, starring in Medicate Mondays every Monday. Daby Cab, my man, any last words for the Capper Sporting Show?
Man, let's get paid today, guys. It's Friday. I'll be back right here tomorrow morning with Jose. Say hey plays.
Nice.
Finally had a good Saturday. Saturdays have been rough. I don't know about we. I didn't keep up with your bets. I had a good Saturday last week. We're going to have another good Saturday this weekend. So tune in tomorrow morning. I'll see you guys there. Nuke Worker, Truth Teller, Real Deal Prime, Joe, Brahma, Kelly, everybody, man. Fluff, Pimo, Dick, if you guys are still in the chat, shout out to you guys.
Yeah, where the hell are those bastards? I didn't see one comment from a Fluff, Pimo, or a Dick.
I'll
Where
tell
the fuck are they?
I'll send them that, and I'll let
It
them
would
know.
be nice. It would be nice
Yeah.
to get them in.
I don't, and it better not be their governments. I don't want to see their government names. I want to
There's no
see
chance.
Fluff.
Yeah.
There's no
Emo.
chance.
Good.
Fluff
Okay,
already asked
thank
me. He said, "Hey, do you need PGA Fluff to come on and tell you guys what to bet in the PGA Tour?" I said, I'll figure it out. I'll let you know, Fluff."
you. Sure.
I thought they were going to be. I thought in some way, shape, or form they were going to be disrespecting Jose in that comment, but just focusing on the action. I like it. I like it. Daby Cab, we love you. There he is, Dabber Cadabra. Please follow him on X at Daby Cab. We move on to your Boston Red Sox, Jose Bouquett.
One of the more absurd lines of today.
Washington Nationals 18-18, 11-8 on the road. Boston Red Sox 19-18, 7-9 at home. These Nationals are the real deal. I mean, I've seen enough. They just keep coming at you. They love playing together. They're starting to fill the stands a bit. People like this baseball team.
Yeah, everyone loves a homegrown team. Now, they're not going to compete for a wild card spot, but they're going to be like last year's Reds, I think. That'd be pretty good. They'll have moments of being really good. They'll be hot, and they have a confirmed all-star player. So that's nice. CJ Abrams.
CJ Abrams is so good.
Yeah. He makes the Juan Soto trade just a little more palatable.
This is interesting. Lucky Lefty saying chat has a glitch. If you cannot see your comments, turn your phone off and on, says Lucky Lefty.
Interesting.
That is very, very interesting because
God, I'm sorry, Tori.
we've had some issues here. Storage Club says Nats on playoffs. The issue here is that the issue with
many teams
with the wild card. I mean, it's the Braves or the Phillies, obviously, and then the Cubs or Brewers.
No, there's just too many teams for them to compete with.
They can get into the game, though, into the one game, can't they?
I don't think so.
Who's better than them? The Mets, the Pirates, the Reds, the Padres?
I think the Reds and the Padres are better than them.
I don't know. Ron Crawford in the house. Lucas Ryan joining us. Joe Yurkovich. Okay, so here we go. Patrick Corbin against Tanner Houck. Patrick Corbin coming off 9-3 win at home over the Blue Jays. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 Ks, 2 walks. Blue Jays are ass clowns. Corbin 0-3, 6.45 ERA, 1.81 WHIP. It just sucks. We had the makings of a really good baseball team, I mean,
I agree. You guys had the best offense for like a decade, seemingly. You guys went from Bautista to Encarnacion and then moved right along to fucking Vladdy and Bo.
Ugh, it just sucks. That trade to the Diamondbacks and then watching them go to the World Series was, even if Varsho
that was the start of, I don't know if it was necessarily, I guess, the start of the bad times, but that was the first red flag. Like, oh fuck, our people might not know what the fuck we're doing.
Gurriel and Moreno. Good God. All right. We have Patrick Corbin going up against Tanner Houck. Houck 3-3, 1.99 ERA, 0.97 WHIP. Coming off a tough start at the Twins, 6 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3, which were in 5 Ks and 2 walks. We talked about the Red Sox against lefties. We've talked about it often this year, but as much as Jose wants to fade them against lefties, it's not like their numbers are bad. 235, 703 OPS. When you say that loud, they're bad, but that's the 12th best offense against lefties in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, God bless Tyler O'Neill. Because every time there's a fucking lefty, Tyler O'Neill seems to hit a home run. That's why Rocco Rogers just threw a O'Neill home run in the chat. I'm actually going to look up Tyler O'Neill's splits against righties and lefties this year. I'm just going to laugh at how ridiculous I'm sure they are.
Let's talk about the weather at Boston. It's cold, 49 Fahrenheit, 10 miles per hour in. It dies down to 7.5, but it is a cool weather. Let's talk about the line history here in this one. On the money line, we have Houck and the Red Sox at minus 205. Open up minus 187. So we've had 18 cents of movement at Pinnacle towards Jose's and Nasty Nate's Boston Red Sox. On the total, I have the first 5 up, so we can touch that. That's at 4.5 minus 111 to the under. Opened up plus 103 to the under. So that's 14 cents of movement on the first 5 under. When we get to the full game here, we have an 8 at Pinnacle. This opened up in a 9. There's 8.5s at other books, but this has dropped a full run. It is minus 115 to the over, but that's a huge move towards the under. Let's see if the cash flow correlates with any of this madness. We have 91% of the tickets, but just 68% of the cash on the Boston Red Sox. On the total, we have 76% of tickets, 67% cash on the over. So 24 and 33 on the under. Sharp action on this under. Troy Torrance says tied 0-0 after 5. Take it away for us here, Nats Red Sox.
Yeah, I'm on it. Under. I took it. It's going to really piss me off here when Patrick Corbin, perhaps the worst lefty in the league, dices up the Red Sox. But I don't believe it. I'll continue to not believe in the Red Sox against lefties. And the last time they were against a lefty, I was annoyed that I didn't take the under or take the team. It was against Kyle Harrison. So I'll take it here. No problem. Under 8.5. I got minus 120 on it. And you said there's already 8s available as well? That makes me feel a lot better.
And what did you get on it?
I got 8.5 minus 120. Bet it before the show.
Under 8.5 at minus 120. Does feel like it's a very sharp move on the under.
Yeah, Bet Online's still hanging 8.5 apparently as well.
It's just Pinnacle at 8. Everything else, everybody else at 8.5 in this one.
Good. Excellent.
So,
but yeah, no, I mean, I think Houck pitches well. He's not a lefty, so the Nationals are going to be in a disadvantage here. Nationals been hitting lefties well. And this is going to be a true test to see if the Nationals or if the Red Sox cannot hit lefties. I'll tell you that. Wow, it's under 8.5 and bookmaker minus 117 right now. What a line.
Yeah, I'll join you. I'll join you with this. Both bullpens look really strong. The Nats bullpen that got touched up by the Orioles, that was just base fielding mistakes, errors.
And the Orioles are really good.
Yeah, they just keep coming at you. Let's move on. 7:40 p.m. Eastern. Next up, Cleveland Guardians 24-14, 12-8 on the road at Chicago White Sox, 10-28, 6-12 at home, guaranteed rate field in Chicago, Illinois. KBO spreadsheet play today is in LG Twins minus 105 from our Ronnie Crawford. LG.
Fuck yes.
Twins. We're in guaranteed rate field in Chicago, Illinois. Let's talk about the weather here. 65 Fahrenheit, 10.4 miles per hour to left field. Stays between 10.4 and 6.8 miles per hour out to left field. It dies down a little bit. Let's get into it's right to the left field pole too. It's sort of across the diamond. Garrett Crochet Cookie Carrasco. This total opened up at 7.5. It's now at 7. You know, neither of these pitchers are easy to trust here. It's amazing that the market is begging for you to bet overs. Money line here, Crochet's at minus 106. Opened up at even money, and now minus 108. So 8 cents of movement towards the White Sox. You know, Kopech looked really good last night, closing that game out.
That should be his role. I mean, honestly, just make him a really good closer. Let him go 2 innings every once in a while. Just have him be Mason Miller 2.0, just worse.
God, how many of these games do we have today that are like this?
Yeah, and I have unders sprinkled everywhere across the board. I'm on the under in this game. Spoiler alert. Minus 125 for 7.5 for me.
98% of the tickets and 96% of cash is on the over. and this is dropping. And there's two bummy ass pitchers on the mound. On the money line, 62% of tickets and 98% of cash is on the Guardians. And this line's moved towards the White Sox. Billy Friedrich says this one goes over. Eddie Euler on the over. But Make America Great Again on the under and Coin on the under. This is
I'll take the under, yeah.
Cookie Carrasco coming off a great start. His numbers are bad, but it's not hard to shut down the White Sox. And he's coming off a great start at home versus the Angels. 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 3 Ks, 2 walks. Garrett Crochet coming off a great start. 5-1 win at the Cardinals. He's been touch and go as we've gone through this season. And I wonder if he's worth trusting the market here. You got a 5.67 ERA and a 5.31 ERA. Everybody looking at these inflated numbers. These two pitchers have allowed 14 combined home runs in 74 innings. And yet the books are begging anybody who wants to bet the over to come in and bet it. And then you talk about the Guardians versus lefties, 263, 773 OPS. This is nuts. Take it away, Jose, and give me that line on the under again.
Under 7.5, minus 125. You mentioned the market. It's all on the over. They're begging you to bet the over. I took the under here. We cashed it yesterday. I believe we did. I kind of like memory wipe all my bets from yesterday after it happens, like a pitcher in that aspect. But I was on it yesterday, I believe, cashed it with Fetty and the boys. So I'm on it here again. Just two teams that don't inspire much offensively. So,
wow.
And it is concerning, back in Crochet, we talked about how, and after like the first few starts that, the tape is out, everyone knows how he's going at them, and he only has 3 pitches, so it makes it even harder for him to go. But like I said, the market's just screaming, so I have to.
This is.
Oh, there's our guy, Dick. Just Dick, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Just Dick. I love it. Just Dick.
Yeah, he didn't show up here in our YouTube chat, maybe because of the handle, but I respect it.
Yeah, shout out to Just Dick.
Yeah, man, Dick in the house. Any friend of Daby Cabs is a friend of ours, so respect.
Now we'll be just counting down the moments for Fluff and fuck.
What was the other one? Chitty Bang? What was it? I can't remember what. But Fluff.
I forgot his.
Oh, Pino.
Pinot? I don't know. I don't know. Kino, apparently, I guess. Shout out to the old Asian
nice.
woman. Bumper Snuggles?
Yeah, it wasn't Bumper or Snuggles.
Pimo. Dick says Pimo.
Oh,
there you
Pimo.
go.
Thank you. Yeah, if you don't want to run into a guy with a nickname of Snuggles.
That guy will fuck you up. That guy will fuck you up.
Not in the way you think either.
No, you don't want to fuck with the gay dudes. The gay dudes have fought all their lives. They'll fuck you up.
It's a little different in Parkdale. It's the trans.
Yeah. Those they've been made fun of their whole life. They'll fuck you up. They don't give a fuck.
We got
Respect
a girl.
to those.
We got a girl in Parkdale, 6'4", and knuckles that are so intense, and she loves us. She loves Fong and I. Protects us, and
you got to be on the good side. Yeah, shout out to all of our trans cappers out there and our gay cappers as well. Shout out to them.
She walks down King Street and she's like whistling, and it's like the Warriors. It's like she's like.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Omar.
No, well, yeah, Omar. It's like a little bit of, but
I haven't watched that show, and I know that reference.
She would destroy Omar. She's the toughest person in all Parkdale.
Yeah, no, they'll fuck you up. You've made fun of all their lives. They'll fuck you up.
Let's roll, and we have Cardinals, Milwaukee Brewers up next, and we have Robbie Gasser on the mound.
Robbie
Gasser, and
Dick Gasser.
Let's talk about old Robbie Gasser. 24 years of age, out of El Dorado Hills, California. Second round draft pick, Robbie Gasser. And he's not a big dude. He's a little guy. 6 feet tall. Actually.
Oh, that's fucked up. When you say 6 feet and you call him a little guy, that's fucked. What is Marcus Stroman?
You know what it's like hanging with our squad, man. We are all tall. I'm not.
It's disgusting.
But we're a tall group, and
Apparently, you're 5'7" on screen.
it's just fucking ridiculous, man. Just fucking ridiculous. Make America Great Again says Cards in this one. Let's talk about Robert Gasser making his major league debut here in Nashville this year. He's not been very good. 3 starts combined to throw 12 innings. He's allowed 4 home runs in those 12 innings, and yet here he is. Last year in AAA, he was lights out. 9-1, 3.79 ERA, 1.28 WHIP. Struck out 166 batters and 135. In the third, he was money in the bank. Got that cash. And here he is, making his MLB debut. So do you trust Robert Gasser? He is a lefty. These lefties, if you've never seen them before, can be tricky. It can be tricky. Let's pull up the expectation of these fucking Cardinals against lefties. These Cardinals get shut down by lefties all the time. There was a time long ago where the Cardinals raked lefties. It was a team total every time. Now they're hitting 184 with a 571 OPS.
That feels like so long ago now. Jesus.
They are playing bad baseball. So Lance Lynn on the other side for those Cardinals. So we have Robert Gasser making his MLB debut for the Milwaukee Brewers. Milwaukee up against Lance Lynn, the Bulldog, 3.28 ERA, 1.40 WHIP though. 33 strikeouts and 16 walks. Can you trust old Big Tits? That's the question that you have to ask yourself here. Roof will be closed. Let's get into the money line in this one. We have minus 118 on the money line. Open up at minus 129. So we've had a move to the Cardinals. That's 10 cents of movement there, 119 to 109. Is it listed at the books that Gasser's in?
I think it is. When I first looked at the line, I guess I should say, I saw it open around minus 130, and I was hoping that this was listed as another guy, and then when they put in old Bobby Gass in there, it adjusted to minus 115 or whatever it was, but I don't know if that's the case. It doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the case either.
Yeah.
JP says scariest thing in Parkdale is trans thug and some pigeons. Yeah, it's look, you know what it's like, man.
I'm just trying to make residence there. I can't wait.
Look, I don't go inside the crack houses. You know, I just
I'd be interested.
The dealers they drive around on fucking mopeds, have a little cracky hanging off the back, or 2 crackies hanging off the back.
Now that's a sight right there. In the snow, just scooting around. Man.
They get that cash, man. Every couple streets there'll be this some huge dude just standing on the corner, not looking for friendship either. The total here is at 8.5. Open up at 8, so we have a half run move towards the over. Take it away for us here, Jose Bouquett. Oh, I didn't go over the cash flow, which I think will be interesting here from a cash flow perspective in Cardinals Brewers. We have 83% of tickets, 95% of the cash on the Brewers. Lines moving towards the Cardinals. And then on the total, we have 80% of tickets and 88% of cash on the over, and lines moving towards the over. Take it away here. And Bo Jackson saying Parkdale getting gentrified. It was getting gentrified, Parkdale, and then the pandemic hit. And then it sort of stopped getting like everything was getting better and nicer, and then it stopped, and it fucking sucks again. Take it away for us here, Jose. Cardinals Brewers.
By the way, I've been doing some more research, and I think I would be allowed in Canada officially. I think they let me in. They let me in actually, but we'll continue to have that conversation. I actually. Again, doing more research, I'm getting a little more hopeful.
You'd have to lie to their faces and hope it doesn't show up when they swipe your passport.
No, they'll show up, but I think they'll still let me in.
I can tell you, on a scale from 0 to 100, there's a 0% chance that you come in. I'm telling you that straight up. There's a 0% chance. If you have anything on your record, anything, they stop you and they turn you away.
We'll see. And maybe it's easier to get across the southern border than the northern border. Who'd have thought? No, but yeah, I got nothing on this game. I ain't got shit on this game. I wanted to back the Brewers here, but The line's moving to the Cardinals. It seems like it's a Cardinals spot. I just don't want to back them, so no action. I'm ready for the full cavity search though. If they have to do that, if that's what I got to do to get in, just open me up.
Oh, good God. Let's move on. 8:40 p.m. Eastern. We have the Texas Rangers, 22-17, 12-8 on the road at the. Jesus, let's do that for a bit. That was just, if he says open me up, he should get stabbed, right? Then someone say, "Oh, now you're open, motherfucker. Deal with that shit." I think that him saying "open me up" is the single most disgusting thing he's ever said before, and I know that this will make a great T-shirt, but it's going to be very difficult to even bring him back here. Now I know, he's up double-digit units in baseball, and we should forget the fact that he wants to be, opened up by a border guard. But often the fake, the dry heave is a joke. It's often a gag. I feel it right here, though. Like I could. Like I feel sick to my stomach. Oh, fuck. Okay, let's bring him back and try and get to work here. Keep my head down. Keep focused here. Texas Rangers, Colorado Rockies, where Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. John Gray going up against Austin Gomber, the lefty. And let's take a look at the weather in Colorado. Anything to take our mind off what just happened there? From a weather perspective, 55 Fahrenheit, 5.6 miles per hour right to left. And then the wind is all over the place, sort of like Jose's gaping anus. Let's get into the line history here for this one. From a total side of things, we're dealing with a 9.5 at minus 107. Opened up at 10, dropped down to 9.5. A move to the under. Let's get into the the money line. Gomber and the Rockies at plus 170. Opened up plus 164. So a slight move now towards Texas, but there hadn't been. There hadn't been for a long time. Just for last hour was the first move we've had towards Texas Rangers. 76% tickets, 66% cash on the over. And on the money line, we have 89% of the tickets and 96% of the cash on the Texas Rangers. We have John Gray going up against Austin Gomber. Gray coming off a great start, 3-2 extra inning win at the Royals, 7 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 Ks, no walks, pitching very well. And Austin Gomber looked great in that 1-0 loss at the Pirates. We know what happened. Jared Jones, he ran into Jared Jones. I'm afraid to look up, and all I saw was him guzzling something. I think I was trying so hard not to look up. Here we go. Gomber, 3.79 ERA, 1.29 whip. He's been very, very good. Interesting spot here. Take it away, Jose. Rangers, Rockies.
Just remember, I would do that for you, Jimmy. I'd do that for you.
Do what?
I'd take that for you. To see
what?
you. I'd have a border agent, open me up and have to look in there to try to find any drug. I'd do that for you.
You'd probably want a few practice rounds, right?
Someone has to get it warmed up for the guy.
Oh,
no action for me here. Gomber's a first 5 monster. He won the first 5 belt last year. I leaned to him this year, but I didn't want to back him here. I have a lot of action, so it'd be first 5 Rockies for me or nothing. But market and didn't move with me here. I do lean under though, again with a 9.5 here, but no action.
Why wouldn't we bet the under? Seriously,
well,
Rangers
yesterday,
don't get lefties.
Yesterday we had this same thing, and it was 9-1, and it covered by a half run the over, and I was pretty disappointed for those under betters in Coors. It's just the 9.5 is dicey in Coors. 10 seems so achievable, but like I said, I agree with you. I lean under here. We opened it up at a 10 minus 115 at at Bet Online, and you mentioned it before. 76% of the bets and 66% of the money on the over.
Huh.
Crystal Craig, by the way, is officially banned me from Canada, so I guess I'm fucked. I guess I'm fucked.
That's
Yeah,
timed.
I did open up a Corona after that as well. you know.
Perfectly timed, Crystal. Perfectly timed, Crystal. It's perfectly timed. Right, we're just finally getting over it. Oh man, perfectly timed, Crystal. Okay,
Lucas is right as well. My anus. He says that my anus is like Shawshank. It's easy to get in, hard to get out.
okay.
Happy Friday to you too, Kelsey.
First,
And by the way, we have to clean up our language because Tori Coker's picking up his children. I'm sorry, Coker.
I wonder if we can trust Gray and Gomber here.
I could see Tori just driving down the street and then him having the show on, kids in the back, and they just have to ask him every once in a while, Daddy, what's an anus? Why does that man want to be opened up by a border patrol agent? And that's how that happens.
Yeah, I don't know if I can. I mean, that's a low first five. I mean, but I do think that the Rangers aren't hitting lefty. Why would this not? Okay, I'm interested in the first five under 5, but I'll have to pay for it. That's the problem. The 4.5 is all right. I can't. Okay, I'm interested in that first 5 under 5. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 9:38 p.m. Eastern. We have the Kansas City Royals against the LA Angels. Okay, so all of the bets we've talked about thus far in the show are spots that I've added. Now we get to go with bets that I've made.
Ooh.
And the first one here, now we heard from our guy TJ, the gift is in, and it's the overs in this baseball game. Over first 5, over in full game is the gift play of the day from our guy TJ. We have Alec Marsh going up against Griffin Canning. Alec Marsh looked spectacular before he hit the IL, and he wasn't on the IL for very long. It was a very short trip. Sorry, that's Brian Wu. I thought I had Alec Marsh here. Let me just quickly pull him up.
It's okay. Perky just lived out that scenario with his daughter and questions. So shout out to you, Perky.
Alec Marsh. He looked lights out before he went on to the IL. So he was on the 15-day IL with an elbow injury. He had one rehab start in AAA Omaha, struck out 6 over 4 shutout innings, and he only threw 53 pitches in that outing. So you have to think that he is going to be on a real low pitch total here, and then the Royals bullpen will come in. Royals aren't hitting righties, Angels aren't hitting righties, and I like Griffin Canning. I like him. He's coming off 4-1 loss at the Guardians, but he's been pitching much better. 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 1 walk. Wine Time Sports says no play in this for him right now, although he'll most likely be in attendance. Let's move on to the line history here and the weather. Wine Time Sports will be at this one. Let's get into the weather here. Jeez, I got way too much open. In Los Angeles, it is 66 Fahrenheit, 9.5 miles out to right field. It dies down to 7.8 by the end of the game. Line history-wise, let's start with the total. We know that the gift is the full game over, but TJ on the first 5 over as well. This first 5 over, open up 4.5 minus 104, and that's where it is, 4.5 minus 104. There's been no movement on it. On the full game here, this is sitting at 8.5 minus 114 to the over. Open up minus 110 to the over, so there's been 4 cents of movement to that over. And then when we get to the money line for this spot, we have the Angels at plus 102. They opened up at plus 113. So I do not know what Marsh is going to give you. And he's been so good this year. DC Capper on Kansas City Royals. But when you have a pitcher with an ERA at almost 7, who I think is much better than his numbers indicate, and then you have the public, betting heavily on the Kansas City Royals, 74% of tickets and 83% of cash, and the market moving towards the Angels, I find that extremely appealing. When I moved on this, it was 2% of the cash. Now there's 17% of the cash. I moved on the Angels first 3 and first 5. Now, Bet365 screws you on first 3 bets and makes you pay ridiculous amounts. But I have a really nice ROI on first 3s. and I moved on them. I got minus 110. It's now minus 115. All that's happening is more money is coming in on the Royals. So why is the line moving towards the Angels? And then on the first 5, it's minus 105, and I got plus 100. So the line's moving towards the Angels. I'm on the Angels first 3 and first 5. Take it away, Jose. Kansas City Royals, Los Angeles Angels, Angel Stadium, Marsh, Canning.
Yeah, I just bet the over when TJ dropped it in the chat, over 8.5. It's actually the first bet I made today. So let me get the juice here real quick. I got over 8.5 minus 115 in this game. Wasn't going to make a play on this game. I was going to sit back and watch and see what Alec Marsh does. I don't trust pitchers coming off the IL for elbow injuries. It was short, so we'll see. But Griffin Canning's your guy. I'm not going to fade him individually either by taking the Royals. I'll just take the over in this game. Wine time. I hope you have a good time. And TJ, let's cash.
All right, let's roll on here. I'm on the Angels first 5 in full game. And by the way, if anybody wants to talk about Canadian immigration, find a different show to do it. How about that? If you want to talk about immigration in any country, find a different show. We're not going to sit here while we're capping baseball and hear your thoughts on immigration. Rather talk about Jose's gaping anus. All right, we're going to move on. I'm on the Angels first 3 and first 5. Let's move on to 9:40 p.m. Eastern. We have the Los Angeles Dodgers, San Diego Padres. Dodgers 26-13, 11-5 on the road. At the Padres 20-20, 8-12 at home. Petco Park in San Diego, California. We have Tyler Glasnow going up against Michael King. Glasnow 6-1, 2.70 ERA, 0.92 WHIP, 63 strikeouts in 50 innings here. And Eddie Euler saying Dodgers have won 7 straight, and Truth Teller leaning to the over says low total. He said that yesterday, and we should have listened. He said that total is far too low in the Twins game. Twins Mariners game. I apologize about my son if you hear him crying. He'll man up here in a second. Glasnow's last start, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 10 Ks, 1 walk, and 11-2 win at home over the Braves. Michael King, 3-3, 4.29 ERA, 1.40 WHIP. We've already heard from Jay Peasy, who says that Michael King's going to get lit up and smoked. Last start for Michael King, 6 innings, 6 hits, no earned runs, 3 Ks, no walks, and a 13-1 win at Arizona. Let's take a look. And EDC says, Salvador Perez birthday today. What do you think of 1.5 total bases? Salvador Perez is phenomenal. I mean, I don't know how another team hasn't tried to pilfer him from the Royals. This guy,
He's great.
He does everything, and he's so dangerous. And in the most important situations, he steps up. Happy birthday to Salvi Perez. What a monster.
World Series MVP and hopefully future Hall of Famer.
Oh, Hall of Famer, and without a doubt. Hall of Famer without a doubt.
The numbers don't say that, but I hope so. God damn it.
He's got a few more years in him. I hope
so.
It's hard being, the body breaks down when you catch. It's very difficult, but
yeah, he's not a good defensive catcher, and then he's going to rely on offensive war for the rest of his career, and that's not might be the ideal scenario, but that does not matter. That's not what we're not talking about right now.
This total opening up at 8, juice to the under, minus 114, is now at 7.5, juice to the under. So again, we dealt with this yesterday, and it blew up in my face, and here we already have our guy Truth Teller saying it's going to happen here. This is an over spot. TJ says rarely bet run lines, but minus 1.5 on the Dodgers is on his card.
Wow.
Let's take a look at the money line in this one. We have, the Dodgers are sitting at minus 170. They opened up minus 160. Now minus 168. Interestingly enough, they got to minus 180 a couple times. They got up to minus 185 this morning. I didn't even realize that. So it's interesting that now we only have 8 cents of movement towards the LA Dodgers in the spot. And when we get to the cash flow, we have 90% of the tickets, 93% of the cash on the Dodgers. And on the total, we have 98% of tickets, 97% cash on the over. Troy Torrance says, database says Dodgers are plus EV until you filter down to totals of 7.5. Says then the money line odds are spot on, completely break even. TJ says run line movement. Why don't we take a look at that here? TJ, my man, we have on the run line, the Dodgers have gone from -1.5 at -102. Yeah, so they opened up -1.5 at +108. So there's been 10 cents of movement towards the Dodgers on the run line. It does sort of follow that what we talked about though, because it did get to -110 at 9:03 a.m. when it hit the high water mark. Take it away for us here, Jose. Dodgers, Padres, 2 games left on the board after this one.
Yeah, I leaned under here as well. I mean, we've talked about this again several times, so I don't feel like I have to rehash it every time, but all the money on the over, and yet we're seeing market moves down to the under here, Jimmy. I had this opening up at an 8 8 juice to the over, or sorry, to the under, minus 120 to the 8. And now we're seeing 7.5s across the board here. So I leaned under here, and this is another one of those bets where I was kind of back and forth on taking the under, wanted to talk it out with everyone. I see Truth Teller saying this is too low, and that definitely has, me a little worried. But now TJ is also saying this is a classic Jose under spot, and it is. It really is. So I go back and forth on it. Truth Teller, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this total more. Because again, hey, you tell us to listen to you, my man. We're gonna listen. I'll listen to you. Just let me know what you think here. So I definitely like this under. And Oldie's right. There's plenty of time for this to ferment. So, you got to come back, open up the barrel, see if it smells. But I don't think I have anything on this game yet so far. But I definitely lean under.
Yeah, wind blowing in. Two teams that don't like each other, 2 bullpens that are rested. Kind of has all the makings for an under, but you'd have to trust Michael King in this spot. He's allowed 10 home runs in 42 innings this year, but he's coming off.
And these teams always, when they play, it seems like there's always fireworks in between these teams. It's not like there won't be any familiarity as well. Let's not forget that Tyler Glasnow started his season with the San Diego Padres in Korea. 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs there, 3 Ks, 4 walks. If he does that when he walks 4 dudes, imagine what he can do when he doesn't walk people.
Ohtani hitting in 9 at-bats has 3 home runs off of Michael King. Mookie Betts in 5 at-bats has 2 home runs off of Michael King. I mean, how is he possibly going to get through the front of this lineup? I mean, that scares the shit out of me. I just... Okay. I think I've got to stay off of it here. When was that start against the Dodgers for Michael King? Was that in Korea?
That was the second. Yeah, that was the second game in Korea, I believe.
Korea.
Yeah.
And that was the game where the Dodgers put up, 20 runs or something?
Yeah, both teams. It was him versus Yamamoto, I believe. Here as well. I'm actually looking it up. Yeah, it was him versus Yamamoto, and it was a game where they scored 5 runs immediately, and then it ended up 15-11. So I'm off. I mean, them seeing Michael King so clearly is scary, but I also think like the dude. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this is his first start in his new team in another country.
Yeah, tricky.
Yeah, it's tough. So. Again, I lean under, but I won't move on it. Troy, we should do this. He wanted to show me, so we should just do this on the show sometime. So, Troy, hit me up on DMs, and we can do this. You can share your screen on StreamYard, and we can get it done.
All right. Let's roll on. We have 2 games left on the board before our horse race. Let's go to 9:40 p.m. Eastern with the Oakland Athletics 18-21, 8-8 on the road. Seattle Mariners 20-18, 11-8 at home at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. Paul Blackburn versus Brian Woo. By the way, Lee Davis has got to run, but that Reds team total has dropped to 2.5, juice to 46 to the over, while the line's moving towards them. A bit strange. Interesting. Copy and paste that. So I go over all of this. Okay. Copy that here. Okay, we have A's versus Mariners here. Brahma B says A's money line, baby. And Lee, thank you for sharing that with us before you leave. I love that stuff. Paul Blackburn going up against Brian Wu. The big question is Brian Wu. I mean, we know that he has fire. He throws so hard, but he's coming off an elbow injury. He has been on the injured list all year with right elbow inflammation, and he did not give up a run through 11 and a third during three rehab starts at AAA Tacoma. He struck out 17 batters and walked 0. So Hancock is going to be optioned, and Wu comes up. I don't have a very good ROI backing pitchers who are absolutely lights out in their rehab starts, like who are dominating their rehab starts and come up. It's never for what. Now the sample size is small, but it's not worked for me here. Perky is running hot. I love it. So Paul Blackburn, 3-1, 3 ERA, 1.02 WHIP. His last start, 1 earned run, was solo shot, 3 Ks, 1 walk, and 24 win at home over the Marlins. That was when Trevor Rogers got lit up and smoked. Joe Yurkovich has locked in the Phillies -1. Eddie Wells says Blackburn 5 home runs allowed over the last 3. Troy Torrance says I want the Mariners. Database wants the Mariners. Spot says Mariners at home market moving towards them. So let's take a look at that market here. Now, one thing we've learned about T-Mobile, which I didn't like, I've gone to that, I've been in that stadium multiple times. I always thought if it was 50 Fahrenheit, the roof would be closed. That's not been the case. I don't know if that's changed this year or what, but weather-wise in Seattle, it is warm and beautiful and clear, so it's going to be open. 71 Fahrenheit. Wow, it's warmer in Washington State than it is in California. 66 Fahrenheit at last pitch. 9.3 miles per hour to left field, and the wind's all over the place. Then it starts blowing in. So it starts blowing in. Let's get into the line history here. We'll start with the money line. On the money line, we have the Mariners at -149. They open up -152. So for me, Pinnacle didn't open this line till 8:03 in the morning. If you're looking at a book that opened it earlier, maybe the market moving towards Mariners. Since this line opened up at Pinnacle, there's been a slight move to the Oakland Athletics. When we get to the total in this one, we are dealing with a 7.5 -104 to the under. This opened -116 to the under. So we've had, 12 cents of movement towards the over. It's actually 11 on the overside. It's gone from +103 to -108. And cash-wise here for our second to last game on the board, we have 78% of tickets, 72% of cash on the over, 78 and 72. Sorry, let me move over to all markets. And then on the money line, we have 87% of tickets and 92% of cash on the Seattle Mariners. Joe Yerker says A's first 3 looks good. Eddie Oilers says beautiful day in Vancouver 2 for the Edmonton Oilers. TJ says model says A's first 5 plus a half. Don't hate it, but heavy action today has me off. Take it away, Jose. Very interesting market. A's Mariners up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I feel the same way as our guy TJ there. I want to back the A's here. I want to back Paul Blackburn. But the market moving against them has me off. It's kind of the same thing with Austin Gomber. Those two have been, cash cows, and not in Troy Torrance's way, but they've been very good first 5 wise, obviously in the last few years. But I just think that these are not the spots to back them here, and I'll stay off. Though, again, I say this, or I've been saying this, these are the games that the Oakland A's have to win to prove that they are like a playoff worthy run kind of team. And they have to show up in these kind of series. So I'll be interested, obviously, they lose that series against the Rangers, but they lost that last game like 12-11. And they could have split that series easily. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I'm off this game. I lean A's, honestly, but nothing here for me.
18 at bats against Brian Wu. You have to get a hit off of him. This group. And I don't know what Brian Wu's going to deliver, but I would like to fade him, honestly.
Again, I always, Jimmy, this is something I got from you. He wasn't injured, I believe. I think he's just coming up from being down in the minors, and he's already been in the majors once.
Who's that, Wu?
Yeah, was he
Oh
hurt?
no, Woo's out the whole. He's been elbow inflammation for the whole year.
Okay, so it's not as good. But I was gonna say, a guy getting sent down to the minors and then get called back up for a second shot up here to impress people, et cetera, et cetera. We've talked about how that angle works. I forgot who the pitcher was the other day that we talked about this. I don't know if it was not Reynaldo Lopez because it's not the same thing, but we've talked about it. Probably Grayson Rodriguez, the last guy I think that I can think of that we've talked about. This got sent down because he was shit and then called back up and he pitches really well. Maybe Brian Wu, that happens to Brian Wu, but the elbow inflammation definitely makes it a little more, tricky. So,
Troy, who is coming off the winning streak? Because neither the A's or the Mariners are. Mariners lost 2 straight A's, lost their last one. Troy Torrance says this one is clear as day, in my opinion. Wow. Says you don't bet against the Mariners at home at night, market moving towards them. Okay, I'm gonna stay off of this spot here. I do not want it's a real small sample size, but young pitchers who've been spectacular in their rehab starts, like unhittable, have not worked for me backing them. I'm going to move past it. Let's move on to the final spot on the board, which I've already moved on. Cincinnati Reds, San Francisco Giants, Oracle Park, San Francisco, California. I'm interested in doing more in this game. I'd like to hear from everybody in it. We have Andrew Abbott going up against Logan Webb. And Logan Webb coming off 2 road starts against really tough competition. I think he gets right here. Reds are hitting 207, 646 OPS versus righties, while the Giants are hitting 245, 671 versus lefties. Reds bullpen 4.51 ERA, 1.32 WHIP, converted 6 of 8 save opportunities. Giants bullpen 4.99 ERA, 1.37 WHIP, converted 6 of 9 save opportunities. It's all good, Troy, my man. No worries. So we're at Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. Let's get into the weather here in this one. 59 Fahrenheit, 12.6 miles per hour to right field, dies down to 9.1. But it swirls there. Then let's get into the line history here. We're sitting here with the Giants at minus 138. They opened up minus 150. We've had this move to Andrew Abbott. Now, it's a move that I can explain. I find that every time Logan Webb goes out on the road and has a couple bad starts, the market goes against him here. This total's now down to 6.5. Wow. Open up at 7.5.
Wow, it's a 6.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's not a real 6.5. It's minus 120 to the over, plus 107 to the under. I got in on the first 5 under 4. That's gone. 3.5. Now,
3.5.
We've seen this line move against me. Or sorry, the beating the line from 4 to 3.5 is not equated to cash, but you have 78% of tickets, 67% of cash on the over. You have sharp action on the under, 84% of tickets, 89% of cash on the Giants, line moving towards the Reds. So they're saying that Andrew Abbott is going to shut down the Giants, and the Giants don't have any power versus lefties. TJ says Webb shoves. I got that first 5 under 4 at minus 112. The line actually was moving towards the over at that point. First 5 under 4 at minus 112. What a steal. But doesn't necessarily equate to getting cash. So last start at Philadelphia, tough spot to pitch. 4 innings, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 2 walks, 5-4 loss for Logan Webb. Andrew Abbott coming off, allowing 2 solo shots over 5 innings and a 2-1 loss at home versus the Orioles. Tough competition. I got the first 5 under 4 at minus 112. I'm going to take that to the bank. I mean, I'm just going to take that to the bank at this point. Let's hear what you have to say about this one, Jose. Reds, Giants.
Yeah, short, sweet, simple, no action for me. I'd probably lean under with you guys, but I didn't want to bet it here, so I stayed off. No action. I do expect Logan Webb to pitch well, and the Giants against lefties, besides Jorge Soler, are vulnerable, I'm sure. So no action, but I lean under as well.
Yeah, the 3 spots I bet early. I got the Angels early, which could blow up my face, and I've got that first 5 under 4. Now I would have loved to also had the full game under, something that I did not have.
Truth Teller likes the under as well.
And we also have the Giants coming from Colorado.
Yep, that's another good note right there as well.
I wonder if that's the reason why the Reds are sort of being backed here.
I can see that. I could see that for sure. By the way, shout out to Nasty Nate, who said his horse is high as hell and he's ready to run. And then maybe my favorite comment of the show, asked Jeffrey Moore asking what track and what race for Nasty Nate. He wants to put some money on it.
We'll show you. We'll show you, Jeffrey.
We'll
But,
show you,
If you're a
Jeffrey.
gold member, you would be in this race. You
Yeah.
would be in this race. All right, we got to review all action here, and we got to get in. I've got to go pick up Ella. I got to leave here in 10 minutes, and I'm not going to be able to get my MLB action until I get back the edition, so it's going to be tricky, but it is what it is. Let's review all action here and then get into our horse race. It's horse race time. Thank you to all the gold members. In NHL tonight, I'm on the Florida Panthers, and I'm on the Florida Boston first period under 1.5, full game under 5.5. Bobano's on the Panthers as well. Then I am on the Canucks at plus 105. Bobano's on Oilers first period, team total over 1/2, over 6, and McDavid over 3.5 shots. Can anybody give us a Draisaitl update? If anything's come in the last few hours, beat writers said anything. Then tomorrow's action, I'm going to be on the first period under 1.5 in New York, Carolina. I haven't bet that yet. Bobano's on the Rangers team total over 2.5. And then Bobano's on the over 6.5 in Colorado, Dallas. And I think I've talked myself into the Avalanche -1. I think I have. I think I'm going to bet it. Then Razor Sharp Pick shared his full Churchill Downs card. Thank you, Razor. Means a ton to us. I'll pop that in the chat for you guys. There you go. All right, thank you, Razor. In NBA tonight, I'm on the Pacers -4.5, first half, 6.5, full game. I'm going to add the Knicks team total under. Brizzy gave us McConnell over 16.5 points and assists. Bobano gave us the over 222.5. Pacers team total over 114.5. LJ from H-Town said the best bet is the Pacers team total over. Then we have Justin McKelvey. Stacks play today is the Denver Nuggets team total over 99.5. I'm on the Nuggets +5 and going head-to-head with Troy Torrance on this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a good battle.
You know,
All three ways.
For me, it's not because, Troy is so adamant that I want to be on the other side. It's not that. It's just that my unit size is comfortable for my bankroll. And if I'm going to say anything, we'll back it up and fucking bet it. And so I'm not just going to, I got the +5. I've already bet it. I'm going to add the first quarter and the first half on the spread, not the money line for the Denver Nuggets. You know what I mean? Just be a fucking man or shut up. Or the man isn't the right word because we got great female cappers in the house. But you know what I mean. Bobano is on the Thunder +3.5 and -112. I think I'm going to be on Thunder first half and full game. It's going to take me a little bit more time. And then I think it's smash and grab Boston Celtics, but I need to sit with this, for a little bit longer. Just am I putting too much into what happened in game 3 in the Miami series? It's possible. Spreadsheet play today is Edmonton. Now, Ron, I imagine those are numbers with Draisaitl in the lineup, which I'm expecting him not to be in the lineup. And the spreadsheet play today, dog on Washington at +180. I love that.
It's a good look.
But Ron, with those numbers were crunched with Draisaitl in the lineup. And actually, I'd even take that. Was it Draisaitl and Henrique in the lineup? Because Henrique is, does everything for you. Then from action in the chat, Viper MB on the Rangers -1, Phillies -1, Dapper Capper best bet, Diamondbacks first 5, smooth balls play today, Rangers Suarez over 5.5 Ks, Rocco Rogers on Webb over 18.5 strikeouts, getting that +130. Spreadsheet play today, Washington +182, Justin McKelvey Nuggets team total over 99.5. Chosen one is on Boston Red Sox -1.5, Twins money line, Phillies money line, TJ's gift, Kansas City, Los Angeles Angels over 8.5. Jake Flanagan is tying the Phillies team total over 3.5 for the Canucks money line, getting that at +214. Von Polo on the Orioles money line. And let's review all of baseball here. So I'm going to review my action, Jose, and then you review your action.
Okay.
So here in spreadsheet play today is Denver Nuggets +4.5. And Eddie Oiler says, be surprised if Draisaitl doesn't suit up. I would be surprised if he suits up. Anybody have any information from beat writers? Please let me know. I've already bet the Canucks. We have Jose on the under 7 at +105 in Cubs Pirates. I'm going to be on the Cubs first 5. Cab is on the Astros first 5. I'm going to be moving on the first 5 under in Yankees, Rays, Diamondbacks first 5. That's great. That's beautiful. So the Diamondbacks first 5. That has me right in line with the Dapper Capper's best bet of the day. I like that. Brendan fought. Jose's on Diamondbacks first 5 full game, but he's going to review all his action. I'm going to be on the Twins in the full game under. I'm on the full game under in Atlanta, New York Mets. Cabby's on the Braves team total over 4. I'm on the first 5 under 4 in Philly, Miami. Cab's on the Phillies team total over 4.5. Jose's on the under 8.5 in Washington, Boston. I'm going to join him. Jose's on the Cleveland White Sox under 7.5. I'm going to join him. Cardinals, Brewers, we stayed off. I'm interested in the first 5 under 5. I don't know if I get there. Angels, you guys know I'm on the Angels first 3 and first 5. I'm off of Dodgers, Padres, off of A's, Mariners, and I'm on the first 5 under 4 in Reds, San Francisco Giants. TJ, Detroit, and Minnesota money line, the other 2 bets that he didn't share. And then Troy Torrance on T-Wolves, trifecta, Cubs first 5, Yankees money line under Detroit, Mariners first 5 in full game, and Mariners and Phillies money line. Okay, so there we go. Jose, can you please review your MLB action?
Yes, I'll do it quickly. I have 9 bets in, actually 8 bets in. All of them basically tweeted before the show. Royals, Angels over 8.5 minus 115. Shout out to TJ. Cubs under 7 plus 105. Full game, by the way. Twins, Blue Jays under 7.5 minus 115. Nationals, Red Sox under 8.5 minus 120. The Phillies, Marlins under 7.5 minus 115. Cleveland Guardians, Chicago White Sox under 7.5 minus 125. And the 2 additions that I made on the show, full game money lines, Arizona Diamondbacks plus 114, and first 5 money line, Arizona Diamondbacks minus 110.
EDC says, do you like Halliburton 9.5 assists today? I do, but the last thing you want is him to be at 9 assists, them up 25, and him not in on the 4th quarter.
Yeah, that would be tough. Shout out to EDC, by the way. Bet Salvi home run. It's his birthday. If you're going to take the bases, just take the home run.
All right, let's roll here. We're traveling for 1 minute. Jose, how many horses do we have in our lineup?
71 again. So shout out to the 71 that was on Tuesday. Those 71 back in line here again today.
And thank you so much to all of you gold members. Jose, my friend, you open up the first 30 seconds. I will close it up. Thank you to all of you for supporting us here at Pub Sports Radio. Jose, take it away.
Yes, we appreciate you guys all so much for joining us here. A packed house. We appreciate it. Let's get racing in San Antonio. Here we go. Nuke Worker poking his nose out front early, but there he goes. Falling back. LJ from H-Town. BT, Subhuman Gaucho, Cheshire Cat, all in the mix here as well. Philly Eagle Flyer, Justin McKelvey poking up from the back, and one Jimmy the Bag. Jimmy the Bag poking his nose out. Who's going to take it home, Jimmy? You got some chance in this money here? Are you coming home with this?
You need late pace here. Do I have it? C-Mac making a huge move on the outside alongside Old E and Donut Silks. Sean Pulliam also in a row. Sean Pulliam putting his snout out in the lead. Just 15 seconds left. Here comes Juan Chavez making a big move. Daby Cab still in this, and Joe T making a move. Jay Peasy on the outside. TJ Parks trying to get involved. Kelly McInnes has stepped front with Ricky Levine. The 2 of them coming down to the wire. Can Kelly get by Ricky? Preston Ekdahl getting the cash, which means that Kelly McInnes got sniped and no one wins. Preston Ekdahl will be donating $50 that he just won to our next race on Wednesday. And I haven't told you this, Jose, but let's move our horse races to Thursday and Friday. Thursday, we always have the smaller card. So Thursday, we can have some fun with the horse races with the smaller card with more time. So it'll be Thursday. Kelly, very close. You got to win in you. Top Set was right there. What a Truth Teller was right there. Truth Teller in 8, but looks like he's right there. TJ Parks, Brown Hughes. What a Ricky Levine. Ricky! Very, very, very close. Very, very close. Thank you guys to all of you in the chat. AOD, Perky, Bumps, Sanderson, Truth Teller, Tori Coker, Gerald Jones says, great race. Happy Mother's Day weekend. Good luck, brothers. Yes, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Please, if your mother is still alive, please let her know how much she means to you, and please send love to her. And we thank all the mothers out there. Thank you guys for being here with us. We have absolutely nothing without you. Kelsey, Old E, The Juice, TJ, Coin, Troy Torrance, John Chow, Lil Domo, Streamline Gaming, Eddie Euler, Ron Crawford, Rance, Rodney Barton, Bo Jackson, Robert Martin, EDC 102, Jay Peasy, Joseph Alvarado. Thank you guys so much. Truly, truly thank you. And let's go out there and get that cash. Joe Yurgevich said Preston Shockey just fed his horse spicy nuts. Interesting. Very, very interesting. This is a very, very important day for me. We've hit the low water mark on the season in MLB. Today is already the in-out day of my local. So it's so crazy how quickly things turn. I was sitting back telling Jose, I can't believe I got the money and he hasn't canceled my fucking player props in Operation Garcia. I was so excited. I was like, look how much money I just got, Jose, and he hasn't canceled me. Well, I had to send him money today, so let's see if we can change that, man. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm in that same scenario. I've been taking money from my bookie the last 4 weeks. That now I'm gonna have to pay him this week potentially, and I'm like, what the hell? So yeah, no, I'm right there with you. But today's gonna be a good day. We'll stack it up with tomorrow's. We have a lot of good shit tomorrow. Paul Skeen's pitching tomorrow. We're gonna get fucking Livy Dunn shoved down our fucking throats. But some people would like that. Some people would like that. Some other people would like their anus gaped, but we won't talk about that here today. Appreciate all you guys. Fernando, Tori, shout out to your children. Hope you had a good time picking them up. And shout out to in your school, Saturated, Jeffrey, Kelsey. Kelsey's saying stamina is important. Kelsey, I'm sure you have issues with that as well in your life. Stamina, shout out to you. Tori, Troy, TJ, Streamline Gaming. Let's go. Let's evacuate Jimmy's lungs and guts here. Leche. Hey, Los Bookmakers.